Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, June 19th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got MLB action tonight. The New York Mets versus the Houston Astros on MLB Network. We're going to have first pitch here in about 10 to 12 minutes. Hope everyone had a good Father's Day, and I am ready to go. They actually are doing a live look-in right now based off the former number one pick getting his first at-bat for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I'm going to go into the starting lineups here in just 1 second here. Cubs 3, Pirates 0. And Henry Davis, the catcher, the former number one pick. This is his very first game. So anytime you get guys that are like that, I know sometimes, you just follow your own team or the superstars, but I always, get kind of a nice little kick out of seeing guys that are in the first round or someone as notable as a first pick. It takes them a little bit, to maybe get called up at the right time. And then when they do get called up, it's an exciting thing for that organization. And with the Pittsburgh Pirates, they've actually been kind of good this year. So hopefully Henry can, get on base. I don't think he's going to necessarily get a homer or anything like that, but hopefully he can get just like an infield single or double. And that'd be a great way to start the career. 3-2 pitch. Chopper. Fair ball. Go, go, go. There we go. Henry Davis, former number one pick for the Pirates, his very first at-bat. Very cool that MLB Network, obviously would, do the live look-in. I was hoping that they were. I didn't know if he actually got it, but it's on here now. Awesome. Good for him. All his rookie cards and all his memorabilia just went up. So that is sweet. There we go. Pizzle in the building. What's good? How are you? Megan in the building. How are you? Oh, I'm sorry that you're not feeling well, but thank you so much. $10 holla. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you if you got to step away. And then if you come back a little bit later, obviously I'll be here for the next probably 3 or 4 hours. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $10 holla. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm going to go over the starting lineups here, and then that'll give you a second, if you just want the regulars or something new. Let me know what you want to see. And obviously the Mariners are not playing right now. And, obviously if they were, that would be kind of where I go. But I was looking at the schedule and I was like, out of all the games, this one looks like it's got the best pitching matchup. And that's typically where I go. And then luckily this is actually being shown on MLB Network. I mean, I guess I could have went for the late game with the Padres and the Giants at 6:45. In another hour and 45 minutes. But I was thinking, I like Max Scherzer, and I already know the potential of Hunter Brown and how good of a season that he's having. Scherzer's 5-2. I believe Brown is 6-3. So this is the best matchup. So definitely wanted to be able to take advantage of that. I bet. Yeah, I don't know really which way it's going to go because both of these pitchers have looked good, throughout the season for a majority, but they both also have gotten rocked, as well. It's not like these guys' ERA is at like a 1 or a 2. Scherzer is a 4.45 ERA, and Brown is better, 3.35. No Yordan Alvarez, though. So if Yordan Alvarez isn't playing, there's going to, be that I'm not saying that's the deciding factor. The Astros have a team good enough at this point to win without him. But it's like, not having Pete Alonso. Can the Mets win without him? Yeah, they can, but it's better with him in there. So, okay, yeah, I'll get you some head coaches. Let me go. Let's do the head coaches here for you real quick. And then I will go into the starting lineups here of the game. Appreciate you. This should be good, though. All right, let me get you a couple photos here. Hopefully Paisley can not go too crazy. Yeah, but definitely the best matchup, so that's why I wanted to go towards that. And I always enjoy watching Scherzer pitch, and I'm a Mariner fan, so I don't got a whole lot of love for the Astros, but with that being said, they are a very good team. Both teams are starting to, kind of go in opposite directions. One is starting to kind of gain some steam, I feel, with the Astros, and then the Mets, injuries and a little bit of inconsistent play. The Mets are 33-38, fourth in the NL East. Astros are 39-33, third in the AL West. So a couple there for Pete for you. I appreciate you. Get a little bit of hack going for you as well. I'll check up on Paisley here in a second, and then we'll go over the starting lineups. Good old Hack, good old Pete. I appreciate you. I'll get a few more after I go over the starting lineups before first pitch there, too. All right, let's go over the starting lineups. We'll start off with the visiting Mets. And I found this one, Pete Alonso. I was like, ooh, this is kind of a cool graphic. I'll end up using this at some point. And then we started off with the thumb. We got Max Scherzer, Jeremy Pena. I mean, I guess I could have did Hunter Brown, but, I was, hoping that I knew Yordan Alvarez was out and injured and whatnot. So figured out, let's put someone else on there. And I do like Jeremy Pena. He definitely killed it for them. All right, leading off for the Mets, center fielding, Brandon Nimmo. Batting second, right fielder, Sterling Marte. Batting third, shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Batting cleanup and batting fourth, first baseman, Pete Alonso. Batting fifth, left fielder, Tommy Pham. Batting sixth, second baseman, Jeff McNeil. Batting seventh, DHing for the Mets, Daniel Vogelbach. We love him up here in Seattle. Was on our team briefly. Batting eighth, third baseman, Brett Beatty. And batting ninth, catcher Francisco Alvarez. And on the mound, one of the pitchers I do enjoy watching year in and year out, Mad Max Scherzer. Let's go, baby. 5-2 record, 4.45 ERA, 1.24 whip, 56.2 innings pitched, 56 hits, 60 Ks, 14 walks. He's given up 10 homers. All right, let's go over to the Astros. Leading off for Houston, second baseman, Jose Altuve. Batting second, third baseman, Alex Bregman. Batting third, right fielder, Kyle Tucker. Very underrated, had his breakout party last year, and is one of the better, overall Major League Baseball players that is out there, new to the scene. Kyle Tucker. Batting fourth, first baseman, Jose Abreu. Batting fifth, DHing for Houston tonight, Yenier Diaz. Batting sixth, left fielder, Chas McCormick. Batting seventh, shortstop, Jeremy Pena. Batting eighth, center fielder, Jake Myers. And batting ninth, catcher, Martin Maldonado. And pitching for Houston, Hunter Brown. And he's actually been very good, better than even Scherzer, believe it or not. 6-3 record, 3.35 ERA, 1.19 whip, 75.1 innings pitched, 64 hits, 83 Ks. So he's got more Ks. He's a little bit more seasoned at this point than Scherzer. He has done quite a few more walks, though, 26-14. But he's only given up 6 homers all year to Scherzer's 10. So we should have a little bit of a battle here. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, I always try to, mix it up. Sometimes I'll look for, like an image, like a like a posing image, a batting image, but sometimes, getting like the portrait style, try to look something for bright and colorful. And, and obviously I'm going to always have the home ballpark or stadium or arena of wherever we're going, in the background, and then try to put my own little touch to it. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Daniel in the building. How are you? No problem. I appreciate you. Let me go check up on Paisley, and I'll be able to get you a couple more Pete photos here. So one sec. All right, I'm going to go see what Paisley's doing. He's one of only 2 pitchers ever with 3 Cy Young Awards and 3 no-hitters. The only other one, Sandy Koufax. Heady company indeed, JP, and Justin Verlander, who pitches tomorrow in this series yonder, has said he wants to pitch long enough to get to 300 wins. It's going to take another few years, but all right, I'm back. We might not see another. Paisley was woofing. She's in the room here now. You know what I love about that though too? His former teammates. I know, Paisley. But if she's sick, you gotta be able to hang out with Dad. Okay. But I do appreciate you. Thank you for the tenor to get us started. 90 to go. Some of our Pacific Northwest coaches for the Seahawks and the Kraken. I appreciate you. And I think I got one more Pete in here, and we're about to get started. And I hope you feel better. And if you decide to come back a little bit later or whatever your schedule is, I hope you get better. And I'll be here for a minute. So I'll even sprinkle a little USC in there for you too. There you go. There you go. Appreciate you. Francisco Alvarez, batting number 9. And speaking of exciting rookies, we are really excited to watch 24-year-old Hunter. Yeah, this rookie is nice. 6-3 as a rookie. Yeah, and I was actually watching a little side-by-side that they posted up there of him and Verlander. It's like literally identical. So, he looked up to, Scherzer, looked up to Verlander, copied Verlander's stance, the leg kick, all of the delivery. Then they did the side-by-side, and I was pretty impressed. I was like, wow. Because normally, when you're a rookie, you're going to have quite a few ups and downs, and hopefully, you can make a name for yourself. But even if you're really, really good, sometimes it takes a while. And they found themselves another phenom. That's for damn sure. No problem. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, here we go. All right, Hunter Brown, I see you wheeling and dealing. All right, leading off for the Mets, center fielder Brandon Nimmo. And on the mound, rookie Hunter Brown. Let's go. First pitch. In the zone for a strike. And this is definitely the best matchup overall today in the whole MLB scene, from morning games and to evening games. Pitch in the corner for a strike. 0-2 count. Nimmo behind in the count. And then Mariners are on tomorrow against the Yankees. But it is a little early at like 4 o'clock Pacific time, so I might not be able to do that. And Aaron Judge is still injured. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing the Dodger matchup tomorrow. Kershaw's pitching. It's a little bit later. So I'll watch the Mariners, and then I'll end up doing the Dodger game probably tomorrow, most likely. Top of the first, 0-0. We're just started. Nimmo got him. Wow. Nimmo goes down on strikes. Hunter Brown, this rookie, he's just like Verlander. The delivery, the motion. I mean, he definitely looked up to him, and you can tell that he really did idolize, certain guys. And it's kind of amazing that his record is as good as it is. He already has a K. Could be a long night for the Mets. I see you. Next up for the Mets, Starling Marte. One 0 pitch from Brown. Chop foul. That's a souvenir. You look at Buck Showalter, his first pro season in 1977. These guys know what it takes to win. 1-1 pitch, inside, chopped, right to the pitcher. Brown to first. 2 away. That was too easy. Next up for New York, shortstop superstar Francisco Lindor. Signing a lot of autographs there pre-game. .213 average, 13 homers, 45 ribbies, OPS of 715. 6 homers in the last, was that 15 at-bats or 15 games? Probably 15 at-bats. 0-1 count to Lindor. And I like this matchup too because you get, 2 quality pitchers going at it. Pretty rare when you have that. Sometimes you'll end up getting a few, but typically, a good pitching matchup with both pitchers being solid. I mean, you might get 1 a day, maybe. Sometimes you get none. And other days you'll end up having 3 or 4, just depending on the matchups and the rivalries if they all line up. So. Yeah, they definitely have a bunch of unique combo with the white. I mean, everything's pretty stylish. Got the pinstripes. Obviously, just like the Yankees, both located in New York. But all the jerseys, they don't look bad. Yeah, that's for damn sure. The grays there, kind of just normal looking, but the pinstripe whites, those are fire. And even some of the blues, that the blue looks better like that. I think I like the Mets in cursive. That one, I think a little bit better than straight New York, but that New York one looks still good too. I mean, when I think about the Mets, I think like, Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, like way back in the day in like the 80s. Big swing and a miss, struck him out. Wow. Lindor. What a great start to the game for Hunter Brown. Two Ks in that first inning from the rookie. All right, let's go to the bottom of the first. Still knotted up at 0. All right, leading off for the Astros, second baseman Jose Altuve. Batting second, third baseman Alex Bregman. And batting third, right fielder Kyle Tucker. Yeah, well, anytime, if you end up, just having a Judge jersey at some point, it will be a Mitchell and Ness throwback, at some point once he's done playing, and they'll have it, so for all the people that are Yankee fans that have theirs, it's kind of like, the whole Derek Jeter situation. Like, you can have the jersey while he's playing, but, obviously as soon as he's gone, it's going to be one of those throwback things that will be coveted. And, if you have an original one before it becomes a throwback, then obviously those are a little bit more collectible and a little bit more rare, depending on which one that you get. So, and I hope he comes back, after the All-Star break, all healed up, and then we'll get to see what we're really going to get, as far as, the Astros and the Yankees. Are they going to catch up to the Rays and the Rangers, or are they going to be second fiddle to those two teams? Maybe the Rays and the Rangers, their plus minus differential is the top 2 in Major League Baseball, and we finally have a triple digit plus minus differential in the National League with the Braves now at plus 100. But the Rays is plus 143, and number 1 is the Rangers with plus 148. So, which would mean that they've scored 434, runs scored, and then against them, they've only had 286. So obviously that's the name of the game. You want to be able to score more and a lot more to show your dominance. So, oh, absolutely, yeah. Before we're talking anything of any team other, than the Mariners, yeah, you got to get all the Mariner people first for sure. Ron in the building. What's good? I was against the Dodgers a while back, and he was trying to catch a deep baseball that might have been close to being a home run. And there's this door that leads to where some of the other pitchers warm up, and he hit his toe on the concrete part, went through the door, didn't really fall all the way down, but kind of in a sitting position. And so they're giving him some shots. I assume that there's something else that's something hammy or elbow, something else that might be a little sore. So that way they're just trying to make sure that he's all good to go, before he comes back. Scherzer, nice K there on Altuve. But it's not season ending or anything like that. But I wish he wasn't injured because I want the Mariners to play the Yankees full strength, both of us. That's what the fans want. And I imagine that, he does really well against the Mariners anyways. Every time he goes against Seattle, he goes yard. He goes for a homer. So Mad Max with a K. I see you. Good pitching matchup so far. Altuve is down. Next up, Alex Bregman. Chopper. 2 away. Good defense there. Next up, maybe my favorite player on the Astros, even though I am a Mariner fan, right fielder Kyle Tucker. I feel that he had a breakout party last year. I don't think really people understood in entirety how good he is and how clutch he is. Now, obviously, Yordan Alvarez is the guy that's going to get you a lot of those big, homers and whatnot. But I think with Tucker, he's one of those guys, he's always going to be hovering around 300 or above 300. He's very clutch. And like I said, I don't know how many guys are really on his level on the Houston Astros. I mean, Jeremy Pena is a phenom as well. Obviously him coming in last year, kind of had that Julio vibe, and he was very clutch, in the World Series and in the playoffs. But those are probably my favorite too, with Kyle Tucker and Jeremy Pena. I mean, everyone loves Yordan Alvarez. Altuve, that might be the one player, that if you're looking at the roster, just with the allegations and all, but even though, I'm a Mariner fan and a lot of people are anti-Astros, they're still a good team. Yeah. Did they, have some cheating and shit that happened back in the day? Yeah. But that still doesn't, take away from the fact, when Altuve is healthy, right? When he's healthy, and that's the question, when he's healthy, he definitely can be a factor for the squad, and he can be batting, 250 to 310, somewhere in there. It'll vary. Sometimes it'll be closer to the 250 side. Other times it'll be closer to the 300 side. So still got to give, the player props, but we all know how that feels. Shep in the building. What's good? I'm doing good, Ron. How are you doing? They said, it's I think there's still another 10 days, 15 days, but I imagine once the All-Star game hits, they're just going to have him rest up. It's because if you bring him back too early and he gets injured again, then it's going to screw up everything for New York, because they're not in first place. They're already chasing, the Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays. So it's if you want to be able to catch up, you're going to want to have everyone healthy. Same thing with Houston and Yordan Alvarez. Their big guy is hurt. Judge is hurt. Can they still catch up? Yeah. Will they end up taking over the division? No. They'll probably get a wild card in second place in the division, but that's still good enough to, get to the tourney at some point and get, maybe do a little damage. Yeah. I missed you, bro. And we've had some good times and some a little bit of challenging times, but all the goats miss you, and I've missed you, and I always try to keep sending you food or something, anything comical or anything crazy I find. Usually you and Chief will get a message from me with something. But I hope you're good. And watching this Mets and Astros matchup, because the pitching matchup is very good. And again, the only other matchup that I would have had here in Oregon, I would have had to do Padres and Giants. And I mean, Waka 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 is pitching for Padres, but I mean, the Giants did sweep the Dodgers, and I went to my dad's over the weekend and had ribs and burgers and dogs. And I was hoping that the Dodgers would do a little bit better, but it shows you just because, you have a name like the Los Angeles Dodgers or the New York Yankees, that doesn't mean you can play someone that's lower typically in the division and not get your ass kicked. Divisional games are tough. I mean, hell, the Diamondbacks are in first place over the Dodgers and the Padres. And also you have to look at rookies. Like I was telling my dad, I was like, have you seen any of the Diamondback games other than the games that you played against the Dodgers? I was like, you got to look at Corbin Carroll and some of these guys. When you get some of these rookies or second or third year guys that finally get called up and make it, that could be a big lift, with the program, depending on, if they need hitting or pitching and what they do. For example, look at this, Houston rookie right here, Hunter Brown. He's got a better record than Scherzer, and he throws just like Verlander, like a young Verlander. So Verlander left, and then they already had a backup plan, and Verlander went to the Mets, but it's not like it's going to hurt them because now they got a guy that they don't have to pay as much money that is, maybe won't be as good as a Justin Verlander when it's all said and done, because we already know he's one of the greatest of all time. Obviously Verlander is awesome, Hall of Famer, right? One away to Pete Alonso, grounded out to third. But, lots of promise here. I was actually a little surprised and shocked on how good his delivery is. And they did a side-by-side with Verlander, and I was like identical. I was like blown away. All right, Alonso grounded out. We're in the top of the second. Paisley's whining. Weather's been a little overcast here. Pitch right down the middle. 0-1 count. Next up, left fielder Tommy Pham. Pitch is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ooh, that looks good. Is that dinner? Is that dinner tonight, bro? That looks good. Big swing and a miss. And I saw it when Pete Alonso got hit on the wrist and then broke his shit. And then they had to bring in Pham. That was a couple weeks ago when I did the Mets and the Braves. I just liked being able to touch up on, a lot of the teams in the league other than just the Mariners for me or Dodgers for my dad. You got to be well-rounded, especially if you're going to be doing baseball. Like, if I'm doing football, you can't just do one team or just a couple players. You got to know what's going on in the league. Rotation for the ERA MLB leaders: Rays, Astros, Rangers, Twins, Braves. Where's the Mariners? Pitches outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, just grinding, man. Just working every day. Trying to keep my mental health on a good note. Chopper, right to third to Bregman. Got him. 2 away. I mean, now since the NHL Stanley Cup, with Vegas Golden Knights being champions and the Denver Nuggets beating the Heat with Jokic, the Joker, and that's over. So now it's like baseball, wrestling, WWE, AEW, or NASCAR. So there's not really a whole lot for a couple months until we get to football season, and then things will trickle in. Then you'll have NBA, college hoops, NFL, college football, hockey. So I'll be doing, a lot of baseball coverage, either Mariners, Dodgers, or just a cool matchup, depending on the timing if it works out. But other than that, just going to the river every day close to my house with Paisley, just trying to get my exercise. Still have continued to cut back a lot on the booze and whatnot to try to, be healthier and be better. And popped up. Got him. 1, 2, 3 inning. Let's go to the bottom of the second for the Astros. Yeah, it looks good for dinner, man. Anything seafood related crab cakes or shrimps or lobster or any of that. Yeah, that's money, man. Clam chowder. Oh, Paisley, you're fine. We got Scherzer and Pena on the thumb. And I appreciate Sarah sharing on the Twitter side. She'll be back tomorrow, back from her trip, and then she'll be in here on like a regular basis. She's been kind of doing the vacay thing for the last like 10, 11, 12 days. So that sometimes can get a little rough if you don't have a backup, to be able to hold things down on a consistent basis. But, I mean, she'll be back tomorrow, and then hopefully we can finish the month strong. We can finish this year strong. Yeah, I sent you a picture. Did I send you the picture of the last one that I sent you? I'm trying to see if I sent it to you or not. I think I might have sent it to you. Let's see. Yeah, I did send it to you. The like, you go scroll up a couple. Yeah, the stuffed crab cake. That one looked awesome. It does. Oh, I appreciate that. Any little thing like that helps. A lot of times, even Cyberpunk, even when he can't make it in the streams, he'll still like it and reshare it, on his Twitter and stuff. So, I mean, it doesn't take a lot of effort, but again, we already know how social media works. Some people will, put the effort, and for others, it's not worth their time. But, for the people that are ride or die with me, it does help. Like I said, the only way that we're going to be able to get in front of new eyeballs and new people is, not just me, but, the people that are, a part of the channel in the chat, and obviously with the, YouTube here and there with like recommendations and raids and other things. So. You're okay. Oh, really? So what are we talking about? 2 months in Detroit? You're okay, Paisley. Next up for the Astros, first baseman Jose Abreu. He's in the cleanup spot that normally Yordan Alvarez would be in, and hopefully when he comes back, just like Judge, there will be a big spike in both of these teams' production. Still, they're not as good as the Tampa Bay Rays or the Texas Rangers this year. Those are arguably the two best teams in the American League and overall, and then the Braves are right there with them. And nice to see, Shep, that the Braves finally ended up getting to the 100 on the plus-minus differential. I mean, you guys have always been good, but, just to put it in retrospect, the only other team that is close to you guys, right, in plus-minus, and it's like 52 off, so you're not even really close, they have half of what you have, are the Giants, and they're in second place in the National League. So it shows you everyone else is at 48 or less, Dodgers at 42, lots of teams in the negative, right? And then here's you, Atlanta Braves, plus 100. But if you go to the flip side, Rangers are at plus 148, and then the Rays are at plus 143. So it shows you who's dominant this year. So we could end up getting an Atlanta Braves versus Tampa Bay Rays or Texas Rangers World Series. It's very possible. Let's go to the bottom of the second. Diaz is up, and this is on MLB Network for most people in the country, unless you get the other game, depending on where you are, which would be Rangers and White Sox. Scherzer on the mound. Diaz in the box. He's DHing tonight. Big swing and a miss. I did hook up my PS2 for the first time in 20 years. So I have a case logic of a bunch of old DVDs. A lot of people are like, what is that? It's like we had VHS, and then CDs, DVDs, burned CDs. People are like, what is that? But, a bunch of movies on there. I think I have like 50 movies in this book. And then I have like 20 games. Most are PS2, couple are PS1s on there. And when you haven't played a game for 20 years, but you remember when you did play it, for hundreds of hours, either by yourself or with friends, it's definitely a crazy moment. So it was cool to be able to touch on some of those games. It's like I got the original NFL Blitz on PlayStation 1, NBA Live 98, which is wild. a bunch of the Maddens, Knockout Kings, the boxing game, Gran Turismo 3, couple Resident Evils, a Silent Hill. So I got some like shooter type stuff, and then a lot of it's like sports games and whatnot. SmackDown wrestling game from like 2000, lots of stuff. But it felt good to be able to kind of tap into NBA Street, where it's like I can just, pick it up, turn it on. I mean, I got to hook up my PS3 at some point, but I'm just trying to I did the Nintendo thing, and now I'm doing the PS2 thing with the PS1, and then I'll probably do PS3, and then I'll go to like 64, and then because I got about 10 or 12 original ones for 64 too, so just good to be able. It also shows you how shittier the graphics were, but how awesome they were to us at that time, when graphics were different for video games back in the day. But the gameplay still holds up for a lot of these games. Like shit, I can play NFL Blitz on the 64, the PlayStation. It's incredible, man. Still holds up. You can still have fun. 1 player, 2 player. It's awesome. And it's cool to be able to see like the old school rosters. Like I was like going through, and like back in that time period when Blitz came out, that was like when the, Broncos were good. So it's like, Elway, you got TD, Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp. I was like, ooh. I was like, it's cool to be able to see some of those older names. And then in the NBA Live 98 game, I have no games that have Sabonis in it. And that's the only one that I own that I finally, I had that one that has him in there with like Rasheed Wallace and Brian Grant. Nice catch. Nice catch by Jeff McNeil. But it's got like Kenny Anderson, Isaiah Ryder, J.R. Ryder, Rasheed Wallace, Brian Grant, and Sabonis. And I had to message my buddy, and he's like, bro, I was like, you ever played a Blazer game with Sabonis on it? He's like, no. I was like, oh, I should let you borrow this. Pretty cool to be able to like, rekindle the memories and just listen to like, the sound effects and, get back into that groove. Yeah, I mean, obviously the storyline, when you have a faction, Sammy, the honorary Uso, and get Usi, and then obviously him not being a part of it, and that's always going to happen in any faction, where you have the togetherness, and then you have obviously the feuds, and we'll see how everything kind of all plays out, with it. But regardless if you like it or you don't, or you think that Roman had the belt for too long. They're trying to make him the greatest champion, since Hulk Hogan, based off the length and the tenure and then the whole bloodline thing. They want to make it like, meaningful, right? But as far as like the storytelling, it's probably some of the best storytelling, like 10, 20 years down the road, you'll look back and you'll be like, that was one of the top, 2 or top 3 storylines that WWE actually hit it out of the park and did a really good job with the storytelling and the feuds. It's going to be sweet. Yeah. So definitely, I'm going to be doing every WWE pay-per-view every month, and then we'll sprinkle in maybe 1 or 2 of the 4 main ones on AEW if I have the money for it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't count the Rangers out either. You know why? I was doing some digging, and I'm like, okay, why are the Rangers, right? They essentially, they have, DeGrom, but he didn't really, do anything for them. They picked up Seager, and they have Simeon. I was like, why are the Rangers this good? I know the Rays started off like 15-0. That's why they're so good at this point, and they've been able to maintain that dominance. But I was like, Rangers normally are like 3rd or 4th. It's like A's, Angels, Rangers, just kind of, floating. Mariners there as well. And then Astros at the top. And the number one conclusion, based on looking at their roster, their pitching staff, it's the manager. It's Bochy. He was the guy that fucking managed the Giants when they were winning all those World Series with Madison Bumgarner, Mad Bum. So I think that he was thinking about retiring, and then, they were like, do you want the job? He's like, yeah. I didn't realize, I mean, Bochy is, if you're looking at all the managers that are still managing, he's one of the top 5, top 6 that's there right now, maybe even higher, right? So it shows you a manager influence can be huge. It's not just the players. But that was one thing I was like, I had to dig deeper. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the pitchers. I'm looking at the hitters. I was like, all right, let me look at the manager and like go down that route. And that is it. Vogie, top of the 3rd, popped up. Back. Gone. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Former Mariner, DH, Daniel Vogelback. I love kind of the thicker, chunkier guys that maybe they can't defend very well, but they got a lot of power, upper body strength, big legs like tree trunks. When they boom and bust, it's either a home run or a strikeout. But luckily for Vogelback, it was a home run here. Nice. There we go. I like it. I like it. I was hoping he would do something today. He's been going through some mental health and as well. So I'm happy that this happened because he started to lose a little confidence in himself, I think. And it's nice to be able to see someone do well after they've struggled. Nice, Daniel. 1-0 Mets. Next up, third baseman Brett Beatty. Chopper right up the middle for another hit. Nice. There we go. Yes, but I am looking forward to seeing that too. Absolutely. SmackDown got Raw beat. Yeah, but also too, you got to remember, Raw has always been the A product and SmackDown is the B product. But when they started SmackDown originally, and when The Rock was there, right, the SmackDown show was a lot of times just as good as Raw or better week in and week out because you had guys like The Rock and SmackDown, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's not just the show itself, but who's on the show and how it's booked and what kind of matches that you're going to see. So even though SmackDown might be known as the B show, that doesn't mean that, they can't outperform the A show with Raw, Just nice that WWE is watchable again after, COVID. Like I said, I've been watching Raw and SmackDown since the existence, and I always watched it live or on a DVR or like recorded on VHS, and someone would give me a tape back in the day, right? But only time I like boycotted WWE really, and it was like, I can't do this, was during that COVID part. And it wasn't just because of Vince, but the booking with Vince was just terrible. And obviously not having fans there wasn't, really good either, but they could have made the matches better. And, it's just nice that Triple H got involved, and who knows if Vince still has his pulse on it, a little bit of like the booking and whatnot, even though they say no. But Alvarez with a hit. There we go. Nice job, Alvarez. Nice little bloop single. Oh, nice. Votto just homered coming back from like rotator cuff surgery. Nice. Solo homer for Votto. Next up for the Mets, center fielder Brandon Nimmo. We're in the top of the third. No outs. Runners at first and second. Mets up 1-0. And this rookie, Hunter Brown, doesn't get roughed up often. He had a better record than Scherzer and had 2 Ks in the first inning, but now is on the ropes a little bit. Maybe they can get a double play and they can get out of it here. Oh, yeah. Another chopper popped up. Nice defense there. 1 away. Good defense by Myers. Yeah, I like I said, it's just nice that it's like something to look forward to. Because like I said, it's either if you're not a baseball fan or a wrestling fan or a NASCAR fan, it's going to be a long time before we get to football and college football for NFL and college football. So sometimes just to take an interest in something else, can help, get through. You don't have to be an expert on those things, but just something to, kind of keep you going. Unless you have other hobbies and other things to keep you going or you're busy. But Marte. Pitches low, 2 balls, no strikes. Anything new with you, Shep? Overall, just besides working a lot? I mean, me just being able to get onto some PS1 and PS2 games was pretty sweet. So that's kind of, instead of doing like the Nintendo 8-bit, it's nice to be able to kind of, dive into some of those games that I played back in the day. The best part of the games too, from like the early 2000s and the late 90s to the early 2000s is the music. With like the Good Charlotte and the Blink 182, they had a lot of that stuff with like Madden and college football, NHL, a lot of the EA Sports. It's in the game. A lot of memories, with that menu music and just the music that they'd have in the background. Oh, nice little blooper there. Wow. Go, 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 go. 2-0 Mets. Nice job. Marte. Nice job. And I know a lot of people were thinking that the Astros would still find a way to win, even though Yordan Alvarez isn't playing. But I thought with Scherzer, in this lineup, and if you actually look at the Mets lineup, Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, Pham, McNeil, Vogelback, Beatty, Alvarez, that's actually not that bad. It's a pretty good lineup. So a lot of Mets are, they're mad because they're not even at 500, but you got to stay healthy, and you got to be able to produce for your pitchers like Matt Scherzer as well. So, all right, next up, Francisco Lindor. Let's see if he can add on a little bit more. Runners on first and second, 2-0, top of the third. Chop foul. Oh, really? Like starting today? So starting today for 3 weeks? Hopefully you'll be able to come through and hang out a little bit more often once you take some time for yourself and, watch some TV or movies or go out to the bar, Top of the third, Mets 2, Astros 0. Seeing the Astros lose makes me happy. I won't lie. 2-1 count. But I still recognize the talent that they have. Oh, Lindor. Back. Gone. 3-run homer by Francisco Lindor. 5-0 Mets. Yes. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Next up, first baseman Pete Alonso. I know, honey. You can't go in there. Oh, pitch to the face. Almost hit Alonso. Almost hit Pete in the face there. 5-0 Mets, top of the third, 1-0 count to Pete Alonso. Right down the middle, 1 ball, 1 strike. That's tough. 2 Ks, but he's given up 5 hits for 5 earned runs. And like I said, sometimes this rookie is lights out and sometimes he gets a little roughed up. But still, his record was better than Max Scherzer than going into the matchup. Oh, you're fine, honey. Well, I'm glad you're off, bro. I'm glad you are hanging out, bro. And then obviously school is over. So, I can get to a point if I want to, depending on how many people we have. Little dribbler towards second, 2 away to Pena. I can stream longer, so I might have to try to earn funds and whatnot, but and just see, getting some subs and views and going that route. But so I'll be able to go a little bit longer. There's no like cutoff time. So from now until the fall, I can do longer streams, just as long as someone's watching Paisley and, we're grinding it out and whatnot. Ties a career high for runs allowed as a rookie. Probably doesn't feel too good about that at 5, but baseball is a game of momentum and runs. And then as soon as the starting pitching goes out, it's a whole nother ball game. We all know that. Next up, left fielder Tommy Pham, 1-0 count from Brown. Check swing. 2 balls, no strikes. Paisley, stop whining. 2-0 pitch. Right down the middle for a strike from Brown. Paisley, come in here and hang out with Daddy. 2-1 pitch from Brown. Pitches inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Pitches low and inside, and he walked him. Next up, second baseman Jeff McNeil. $1.49. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Hopefully one day we'll get all the mods and all the goats in the room at the same time, and we can end up having a little bit of a gathering. It's a little bit tough in 2023, it seems like, but I still got faith that we'll be able to pull that off at some point. I appreciate you. Let me know what you want to see for a photo, and I got you. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang, $1.49. Every dollar matters. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, unicorns. Every kid and every adult is going to have their own favorite thing, Nothing wrong with that. Sure. Yeah, I'll get you an Ichiro. Yeah. You know who really needs a push? And this is just me because, I'm a wrestling person, right? So we already know with Montez Ford, with, the tag team that they have. Montez Ford should go into singles. He could still be a part of that tag team, right? But then go heel and then, try to get a push to get like IC title. I think that he's really athletic, but I think that instead of kind of being like goofy and whatnot and being like a face, they just need to make him a heel and then have him go into singles competition. I think that would be something that, he's got the talent to do it. It's just a matter of, when that they decide to do this. But that's just me, and there's quite a few other people that I think that, are well deserving. We already saw Asuka get the belt, which was awesome, right? We got to see Ripley, get the belt. And then, obviously you're always going to have Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair in the background, right? And they got their little feud that they got going on now as well. And Bianca and Charlotte match up very well, right? But not a lot of people are talking about that. And obviously you don't have to break up the tag team because, obviously if Montez Ford does singles, what about the other half, right? So you can still do like tag team matchups and he can still look out for his brother, but I think that's what I would do. I think that would be huge, for WWE, to be able to mix it up and like look outside the box. No, this guy's talented, but it needs a little character change. Heel, I'm better than everyone else. You don't even necessarily have to do the cup thing anymore. You can do it if you want, you know what I mean? But I think that once that happens, you could get some pretty good matchups. Struck him out, got him. But also you got, Walter Gunther, that maybe they're trying to make him like one of the longest tenured IC champs. So maybe, that belt, might not be an option, but maybe even, having some, IC title, matchups to get him some experience and whatnot. So yeah, I've always liked Ciampa and a lot of the guys that were kind of like on the NXT side trying to move up. Yeah. Well, there you go. Got to get off the migraine. Yeah, they're not good. They're not fun. Yeah. But they should make him a heel. Like if you really want, like I said, if you go heel, you're going to have more success than being a face ever. There's not very many faces that are going to be successful. Hulk Hogan, the Hulkamaniacs and whatnot. But you just have to look at, certain wrestlers like The Rock, and then you go heel, see what happens. Stone Cold as a face, and then what happens? No one cares. Stunning Steve Austin, and then you go boom, 316, you go heel. I don't know. I just think a lot of times, you look at someone like even female like Bayley. Let's do the hugs. No one gives a shit, but as soon as she went heel, a little bit more provocative and interesting, and you get to be a little bit more of a shit talker, on the mic if you got good mic skills, so. Quicksilver in the building. What's good? Oh, Gunther and Roman. Yeah. unless you're going to get like a Jimmy or Jay versus Roman. Obviously we have Seth, and you got Cody, and you got all these different options and whatnot, on the matches that they can do. But what, Paisley? She's sick. You can't go in there. You have to hang out with Dad. You got to lay down on the couch or come in here and hang out with Dad. I know. Yeah, I don't mind Gunther's run if he's got a long run, but you just want to make sure there's opportunities that other guys are going to be able to get instead of just having the belt on one person. I appreciate you. Jeremy Pena, Jake Myers, Martin Maldonado against Max Scherzer. Yeah, even one more for you. Retired 6 in a row with 3 strikeouts. Then again, we said something similar about Hunter Brown after this. Bottom of the third, Mets 5, Astros 0. Ooh, look at that one. Oh, good hit by Pena. And I got that little turtleneck. The Mariners turtleneck. Like they have only a few of those, through jerseys through like 95 to like 2001. I mean, they've had different variations of that depending on the jersey, but the Mariner turtleneck, it's all stitched and everything. I got one with my Ken Griffey Jr. Throwback jersey, an original, like Russell Athletic, before they got the deal with like Nike and the other companies and whatnot. So. Now up center fielder Jake Myers. And we're in the bottom of the third, 5-0 Mets. Myers. Nice catch by Pham. 1 away. Next up, catcher Martin Maldonado. One out, one on for the number 9 hitter, the veteran catcher Martin Maldonado. 11:50. Let's get to a hundo. We'll see if we get one of my regular people that will come through at some point, I hope. Yeah. Yeah, giving Drew the IC belt would be cool. I would agree, because he never got really the proper love as being champion. Like, you were champion during COVID. Like, you never had any fans cheer for you. I always liked him too. I think he's the best, on the mic and in the ring as far as a big man. Besides, Gunther, is good in the ring, but as far as like speaking, and having the mic skills, I think that you could argue McIntyre is one of the better, big men on the mic that we've seen in a long time. I like Drew. That would be cool too. Maldonado, 5-0 Mets. Paisley is whining and impatient, not getting what she wants. 2-1 count. Come on, Scherzer. I talked to Danny Vogelbach before the game. He says he is the real deal Holyfield. This guy is going to be an absolute stud. 2-1 pitch. Pitches inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. For Max Scherzer, by the way, we haven't even mentioned this yet. This is the first time anybody's seen him on this mound since Game 7 of the 2019 World Series when he was a Washington National. 3-1 pitch. Oh, crushed. Oh, wow. Line drive. Throw to first. What an arm. 2 away. Pena back at first base. Next up for the Astros, second baseman Jose Altuve.
Gotta know everything that's happening, especially if it's in front of you, like it was right there for Pena. It's a good heads up play right there.
272 average, 3 homers, 8 ribbies, 835 OPS, 0 for 1 with a strikeout at his first at bat.
Has gotten a swing on a league high 55% of his first pitches. For some action here, potentially. First off for 2 Altuve.
Altuve popped up. Nimmo got it. End of the third inning, 5-0 Mets. Let's go to the top of the fourth. Henry Davis, first career hit for the Pittsburgh Pirates, former number 1 pick.
There's still a few good ideas left in the world. Ours was to make our own tequila. Grab a glass, amigo. Our casa is your casa.
All right, leading off for the Mets, 1 for 1 with a run and an RBI, a homer in the top of the third inning, 343 feet. DHing for the Mets, Daniel Vogelbach. I like him. Vogie. We had him on the Mariners briefly, and that's what you want for a DH. And I'm glad he's starting to kind of get back into a little bit of a groove. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a run. Third baseman, Brett Beatty. And batting third, 1 for 1 with a run when they got on their little bit of a heater, when they were roughing up Brown. Catcher, Francisco Alvarez. Oh, you already know what it is. It's Shohei Ohtani, 100%. Aaron Judge is hurt. Yordan Alvarez is hurt. No one else is going to be able to keep up. And even if those guys were playing at this point, it doesn't look like anyone is on the Shohei level when you're, top 10, top 15 pitcher, and you got as many home runs as everyone else in the league. And at some point, you're number 1 in homers or number 2, as a pitcher / DH or a regular day player. So I think that as far as pitchers and Cy Youngs, if Spencer Strider can stay healthy and consistent, he looks like he's the front runner there. The Braves are the best team in the National League, period. Even the Dodgers are not on the same level as the Braves. So as long as you don't have a Cinderella story like the Phillies, you guys should get to the World Series this year, and you can win it all. And you'll have more experience than the Rays, or the Rangers, but primarily the Rangers. Rays and Rangers both had little World Series runs within the last 15 years, but I feel that if it ends up being Atlanta, Tampa, or Atlanta, Texas, yeah, they will have a shot. But if you guys stay healthy, you got a nice blend of young and old. Rookies are good, trying to get second-year guys like Harris, going like Julio for my Mariners. But I definitely think that, they got to be, they got to be one of the main ones. Those are the best 3 teams in baseball right now. So we play tomorrow against the Yankees, but it's on at 4. So I usually have to prep for an hour because I got to make a thumbnail, and then I got to get the lineups all ready. I got to go through all the photos. I got to do a lot of preparation, So I don't know. And usually, I don't have access to this room until typically 4, unless it's a slow day, and then I can get in there a little bit earlier. So might not be able to do the Mariner game tomorrow instead of like starting it in like the second inning or something like that. I'm thinking that we'll probably end up doing the Dodger matchup. Dodger matchup is going to be for my dad. It's a good matchup. It's late at night. It's the last game of the night, 7:07 Pacific time. It's on TBS, so it's on, worldwide, globally, right? And it's against the Angels. So anytime I can get Dodgers and Angels in there, you get Shohei Ohtani, right? He's not pitching, though. Detmers is pitching against Clayton Kershaw. So I get Kershaw, I get Detmers, and you get Ohtani and Trout, and then the Dodger players. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'll do the Dodgers because anytime Kershaw is pitching and the Mariner game is on in the morning or not in time for me, then I'm going to go that route. So. Yeah, Ronald's having a great year too. But I just think, if you're looking at it, Shohei should have got it last year. But Judge, home runs, RBIs, slugging, all the categories, first, and then, breaking the history of the 62, right? That's a big deal. But if you actually look at Ohtani, he's like the most well-rounded overall. No one else is doing what he's doing, pitching and hitting. It's like, he's a top 5 home run hitter, sometimes number 1 or number 2. And then, and then not being the best pitcher, you wouldn't expect him to be, but if you're a top 15 pitcher, sometimes top 10, and other times it looks like you're a top 5, that's pretty fucking incredible. I mean, the only other guy that is like that was Babe Ruth, and Shohei is a better pitcher than Babe Ruth was. So, you could arguably, Ohtani's like a joker, like Jokic or like Giannis. Like every year you could give him the award. Same thing with Judge. It's like Judge and Ohtani can get the award back and forth if they wanted to. But at some point you got to acknowledge Ohtani's greatness, being a DH, being a regular player, and being a pitcher, and sometimes pitching and hitting in the same game. And sometimes, he doesn't do good pitching, but he'll make up for it with a homer. Or sometimes he'll be lights out with 10 Ks or 12 Ks and hit 1 or 2 home runs in the game. Nobody in the game is doing that. So, I feel at this point, they could have gave it to him last year, but he'll get it this year. Numbers are too good. Even if Acuna has a great year and gets like 30 homers and 60 stolen bags, yeah, it'll be close. But if you actually look at how many wins, strikeouts, what Ohtani's doing, and with the home runs that he's doing also, I think it'll be pretty clear. But again, I like what Ronald's been able to do because he sucked ass at the WBC, and I was nervous for him. And then he turned it on, obviously with a little bit of like the grapefruit Cactus League, and then found his way, and then was really hot and hasn't really slowed down since the beginning of the season, which is good. All right, sounds good. Yeah. All right, sounds good. Logan Paul did? Yeah, keep me updated on Raw. I don't have Raw on until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. You guys get it from 5 to 8. I get it from like 9 to like midnight, so I have to wait for them to finish the taping. Nimmo is up, top of the 4th. 5-0 Mets. I was actually rooting and hoping that the Mets would win with Scherzer today, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. But I'll take it. Last time I saw Scherzer, he got roughed up by your Braves. And it was kind of back and forth, but Nimmo takes a strike, 2-2 count. Who's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match? What's going on with that? Big swing and a miss. Got him. Nimmo, see you later. 2 more Ks for Hunter Brown, the rookie. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th. That's in Yordan Alvarez, I'll tell you. Paisley, no. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Leading off for the Astros, 0 for 1, third baseman Alex Bregman. Batting second, 0 for 1, right fielder Kyle Tucker. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, first baseman Jose Abreu. Astros team, like I said, they're not as good as they were last year, just like the Yankees. But I mean, Altuve, Bregman, Tucker is phenomenal. Abreu, Diaz, McCormick, Pena's phenomenal. Myers, Maldonado, and then you add up Yordan Alvarez. It's like, they got quite a few good pieces there. Obviously Diaz could be better, McCormick, and Myers, Maldonado, but not every player, but a good chunk of that lineup. And then obviously with the pitching, it's a little bit different. No Verlander. Verlander's on the Mets now. So that could end up being their bugaboo where, they're looking for that guy that they can rely on. But at least they got this, Hunter Brown, is kind of like a clone where it looks like he might be a Verlander type, so, but we'll see. We'll see how the pitching is as we get past the All-Star break. Relax, Paisley. Hang out with Dad or lay down on the couch. We'll go take another walk later. Daddy has to work.
So 5-0 Mets as we go to the home court. JP Morosi caught up with Buck Showalter in our manager interview presented by Sage.
I don't know. We got quite a few right now. I feel we do have a top 5, top 10, pitching staff, but most people would say Luis Castillo is our number one. Then George Kirby and Bryce Miller are tied for like 1A, 1B. All of them are ones. And then you got Brian Wu, who's like a 6th rounder who got 9 Ks in his last start. He's normally our 5 spot because Robbie Ray's out for the year. That's where Bryce Miller stepped in. And then Marco Gonzalez got hurt. And that's what Brian Wu is. And then Logan Gilbert probably is our worst starter at this point since Marco is hurt, which is crazy because Logan Gilbert used to be our 1, then was normally a 2 behind Castillo, but he's just not as good as Miller or Kirby or Wu at this point, or even Marco at this point. So, but we're about 6 deep, which is good. The only pitcher that is terrible for us is Flexen, but you normally never even see him unless we need him for like mid relief. So. All right, next up is Alex Bregman. But I would say Castillo's the one, but Kirby and Miller are not far behind. We got 3 ones. At some point, if Castillo ever got hurt or he left, we'd still be in good hands with Miller and Kirby. That's facts. Paisley, you can't go in there. Ricochet, Logan, LA Knight, Butch. Shinsuke, Santos. So how was the first hour of Raw? What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it a lot of like promo stuff or has it actually been pretty good? Chop foul. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Mets 5, Houston 0. Of course, if the Astros fans, if they were up 5-0, there'd be a bunch of them in here talking shit. But, when they're losing, nowhere to be found. Careful, Paisley.
3 balls and 2 strikes. And here's another interesting note. Observationally speaking, when Scherzer relies on his secondary stuff early, the results aren't as good. We're going to go back to this because it merits an explanation. Full count pitch home.
Big swing and a miss for Scherzer. Number 4 for Scherzer. Let's go, Mad Max. Numbers are great when he uses a lot of fastballs early. And tonight, his fastball usage for the first 3 innings is greater than his secondary stuff. I don't know if they have any extra stipulations or what's going on with it. I'll have to watch Raw tonight to figure it out. Popped up for Tucker all the way to the wall. 2 away. Oh, I know Paisley. Mostly to left-handers, especially right there to a guy like Tucker, but his changeup has been really good today. It's been knee-high for the most part, dropping down into the zone. He's getting a lot of swings and misses, or like we're seeing right there, soft contact. 2 got bases empty now for the 3-time All-Star Jose Abreu, a strikeout victim in his first try. I talked to Jose Abreu about the pitch clock. He says, it's been an adjustment period. A lot of times you want to feel your way in the box and you just don't have the time. Why so needy? And a little bit of a struggle for him. He's jammed a fly ball for Marte and 1, 2, 3, 4th for Max Scherzer, who's retired 6 in a row.
Cats are so delightfully crispy. There's your answer. 1, 2, 3. Tasty wafers covered in creamy milk chocolate. Isn't it nice wafers are having their moment? Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Add mint to the moment with mint duos.
Guten Tag, this is mein Auto und this is meine key. Und for our auto repairs, I only trust one place with mine. Meine key. Also made in America. Meine key is so honest and what's the word? Transparent. Rock and roll. With the inspection, I look at the photographs, would see the problem, and fix with my German eyeballs.
You got some water damage. It's really good.
I only trust meine key with meine key.
The ultimate hybrid. Advanced
All right, end of the fourth inning. My pup is really needy right now because she's locked out of the bedroom because someone's sick in there.
Meet the future. A chef, a designer, and
All right, let's go to the top of the fifth.
all learning to save and spend their money with Chase. The chef's cooking up first with your new debit card. For designers,
Top of the fifth, 5-0 Mets. Pleasant surprise for New York fans. Probably not so much for the Astros.
3 futures, all with Chase. Freedom for kids, control for parents, one bank for both. Chase, make more of what's yours.
All right, leading off for the Mets in the top of the fifth inning, 1 for 2 with a run and an RBI. Right fielder Starling Marte. And Marte singled to center earlier to help them get an RBI to make it 2-0 back in the third. Batting second this inning, 1 for 2 with a run, 3 RBIs and a K. Shortstop Francisco Lindor. And batting third this inning, 0 for 2, first baseman Pete Alonso. Chopper towards third for Marte. Bregman, 1 away. Good defense there. Next up, shortstop Francisco Lindor. 1 for 2 with a 3-run home run. Good girl. Takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the fifth, 5-0 Mets.
10 homers on inside fastballs last year. There were only 2 players in the big leagues that hit more.
Pitch is high and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
He's really good at too, Manny, is the ability to adjust and kind of set you up. You know, he hit the homer with a fastball, but he's found himself in the way he's taking these pitches. You got to be careful with the breaking ball stuff. He's landing.
Brown's got 5 Ks. Scherzer with 4. Popped up.
Just missed that. Locked in foul territory for
Bregman,
Bregman.
2 away. Next up, first baseman Pete Alonso. Wow, 5 for 5. Reyes, he's crazy. Yeah, he's going to have the most 5-hit games in a season. He'll have the record this year. Oh, almost hit him. Why is everyone pitching to Alonso's face or his body? Everyone's like throwing so like at him. I see you, Pete. 1-1 pitch from Brown. Chop towards third, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the top of the fifth. Mets 5, Astros 0. 226 average, 22 homers, 49 ribbies, 850 OPS, 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs. Alonso and Shohei kind of going back and forth with the home runs, trying to be the top dog in Major League Baseball. Chop foul, 1-2 count.
I remember talking to him in the World Baseball Classic, and it was the first time he stepped foot on Old People Park, and he said to me, "Wow, so much room to get a lot of base hits." It's a
1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Got him. Wow. Pete Alonso tried to check swing. Didn't work. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th. 5-0 Mets.
Meaningful actions are not always big, but one by one, they can add up to something incredible. Because when you tap or order online with your MasterCard at restaurants and grocery stores, MasterCard will donate 1 more cent up to $5 million to stand up to cancer. As individuals, we are powerful, but never as powerful as we are when we come together. The strength of us, priceless. People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket. I started my own app company, and with Cricket, I'm able to answer calls from my engineers and investors.
All right, due up for the Astros in the bottom of the 5th. 0 for 1 with a K. DHing for Houston tonight. Yanier Diaz. Batting second, 0 for 1, left fielder Chaz McCormick. And batting third, 1 for 1, shortstop Jeremy Pena.
Who's got the stuff to be baseball's next hero? The MLB 2023 Draft Combine. Live coverage from Chase Field, only on MLB Network. Got something to say about the game? I want to hear that. Don't just talk about it.
Get caught up so we can talk about it on the show.
Intentional talk about it. I think this is when opportunity arises. Join the conversation with Intentional Talk on MLB Network. Watch it. Watch it. All month long, MLB Network's got your games covered with new faces, new rules, new rivalries, and new heroics. Here's what's on the lineup card. Wednesday on MLB Network. Matt, you mentioned earlier, Mets fans travel well, especially when it's not that far. The family and friends of Brett Beatty are here in force. There they are, making the drive in from Lake Travis and other points in the Austin area. His father.
All right, come on, Scherzer. Where are you at now? 4 innings pitch, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 4 Ks. Get it, Max? There you go. Underhand, 1 away. Nice job.
It's a great note, and I'm sure it's a heavy pass list. Oh, he's playing for free right now. And he's doing so gladly, I'm quite sure.
Next up, left fielder Chaz McCormick. Pitches inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
He has started with strike 1. Chaz McCormick makes it.
Matt in the building. What's good? How are you? Bottom of the 5th. Mets 5, Houston 0, 2-0 count. You got a little bit of time to hang out, or are you just stopping in? I think Sarah will be back tomorrow to be able to handle things full time for us. I think we're at 11:50 at this point, so. And hopefully we'll get some people to come through just to say what's up. Pitches outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. Good to hear.
At the moment, that's it. If you're Scherzer, you're thinking the opposite. There's no way right now I'm going to walk you. I'm going to give you my best stuff, and
Bottom of the fifth, New York 5, Houston 0. Scherzer, 45 pitches in. 3-1 pitch. Electric stuff right there, right down the middle. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 11:50. So got quite a ways to go. Big swing and a miss. Got him. Nice K by Scherzer. Yeah, no Mariner game today or Dodgers, so had to kind of improvise to see what was on the schedule. And this one was on MLB Network, and it was a good pitching matchup. So I didn't know if it was going to be like this, but of course you want the games to be close and whatnot, but it's not over. Once the starting pitchers go out, it could be a whole new ball game for Houston. Jeremy Pena up. I do like Jeremy Pena. I mean, I'm a Mariner fan, and I'm supposed to hate everything Houston, everything Astros, because they're kind of the top dog in the division. But I do like Kyle Tucker and Jeremy Pena a lot. Yordan Alvarez is fun, too. Throw to first. Little dribbler up to the pitcher. End of the 5th inning. Mets 5. Houston 0. 1 hitter for Scherzer so far. Amazing. There we go. All right, let's go to the top of the 6th.
Moderate to severe eczema still disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it disrupts my skin itch. It disrupts my skin with rash. But now, I can disrupt eczema with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is not steroid, topical, or injection. It's 1 pill once a day. Many taking Rinvoq saw clear or almost clear skin, while some saw up to 100% clear skin. And
calm down, Paisley. If someone's sick, you can't go in there. You got too much energy, and you're going to be jumping around. Okay, you gotta hang out with Dad. I'll have to probably take her for another walk. It was supposed to be kind of rainy today and whatnot, but we still went earlier today before a lot of the rain came down. Calm down. You got to stop whining. You can't always get what you want. Okay, sometimes you got to be able to relax and hang out with Dad. Or you can lay down on the couch and take a nap, or you can hang out here with Dad. But you can't just be woo, woo, woo for 30 minutes, woo, woo, woo for another 30 minutes, okay? Be a good girl. I know you understand. She gave me the look and then just walked out of the room. Leading off for the Mets in the top of the 6th, 0 for 1 with a base on ball, left fielder Tommy Pham. Batting second this inning, 0 for 2 with a K, second baseman Jeff McNeil. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run and an RBI, the former Mariner, Daniel Vogelbach. Love him. You know, it's usually boom or bust, you know, for these DHs that are a little thicker, you know, that they're going to strike out a lot. But when they go, you know, obviously boom, the boom is typically a homer. And I know he's been going through some mental health. So I'm happy that he's getting back on track. I've always liked him, no matter what team he's been on. And he got a homer today, so that was electric. Let's go, Vogie. Do it again. Oh, good. Good to see that that you're in here, and then you'll be home tomorrow. We'll see how you feel tomorrow, and then tomorrow or the next day, and then you'll be able to get back on the regular routine. Chopper towards the outfield. Wow. Pham, go, 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 go. Go, Tommy. Sliding into second. It was a good throw, but Altuve kind of bobbled it. Actually, maybe the throw wasn't as good as I thought. Safe at second. Next up, second baseman Jeff McNeil. I saw that I was going to message you earlier, but then I saw that they ended up winning, and I figured maybe you'd pop in at some point and whatnot. Long trip, huh? But it sounds like it's been good. You got to see family. You got to go to, White House, and you got to go to some, food places, eat some good food, check out the malls out there, get some new things. So that's always good. Top of the 6th, Mets 5, Astros 0.
See how he touches first base? Yep. He just
Yeah, nice to see that the Cardinals are getting on a little bit of a groove of some kind. Good girl, honey. I love you. Trust me, if I could snuggie with you 24 hours a day, every day, all day, I would. 270 average, 3 homers, 20 ribbies, 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Jeff McNeil. And again, Mariners are playing the Yankees tomorrow, but no Judge. So it's not the same, and it's on at 4. So we're going to probably not be able – I'm not going to be able to prep enough unless I do prepping before. But honestly, the matchup that is on at 7:07 Pacific time is on TBS. That's obviously nationally, and it's Dodgers-Angels. So I get to see Kershaw pitch. Ohtani's not pitching. Otherwise, that would be like must-see TV. Detmers is pitching. So Kershaw, Detmers, and then you get Shohei and Trout also. So I think that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. And then maybe after that, then I can do a Mariner matchup depending on the time. Fam, little RBI. Wow. 6-0 Mets. Fam scores. Wow. Right up the middle, too. I was going to say, if the Astros were up 6-0, we'd have a bunch of trolls and a bunch of people talking shit. But, of course, it's only when they're ahead. But when you're down 6-0, you're not going to see anybody. They won't even admit they're watching. Come on, Vogie. I know, Paisley. You got to be patient for Daddy. I know. I love you, too. Good, yeah. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, the Mariners, a 5. Because we still have a chance to get to being like a 7 or 8 kind of team, but again, we have to finish strong in the second half after the All-Star break, but we're only pacing for about 80 wins, and you got to have 90 or more typically to make the playoffs. So no one expected the Rangers to be this good, let alone the Astros are there. And then you got the Angels. Sometimes Ohtani and Trout play good. They've actually been pretty good this year too. So the Astros are just, Astros, Angels, and Rangers are not making it easy for Seattle. We're in the 4 spot, but last year we were in the 2 spot, but again, a lot of our hitters are underwhelming. Our pitching is pretty good, but the hitters are not doing a good job. So 6-0 Mets. Love it. The main reason I wanted to do this matchup because of the pitching matchup, and it was the best one that was available. I mean, otherwise it would have been me doing the Giants game. And obviously the Rangers and White Sox was also on, but on other parts of the country. Texas 3, White Sox 0. Come on, Vogie. I always like I said, the kind of chubbier guys that play DH. You need one of those guys. We got Mike Ford on the Mariners now, who's kind of like a Vogelback. And we had Carlos Santana that we picked up last year. And he's on Pittsburgh now. Took a strike looking. Got him. Vogie strikes out looking. Oh, AHL? Nice. Next up, third baseman Brett Beatty. Yeah, we have WHL out here in Oregon for the Portland Winterhawks. And, I haven't gone to a game in years and whatnot, but, I mean, we don't have anything obviously professional here. I'd have to go up to Seattle to see the Kraken. Paisley is so impatient. I love you. I know. I love you so much, but you gotta, Daddy's trying to work. I got to be able to I got to work to be able to try to feed you, to give you treats and bone and toys. And yeah, I know, honey. Top of the 6, 1-1 pitch. I know you're so vocal. Yep. PF Chang's. Yeah. PF Chang's. That's good. So kind of like a stir fry. You get your vegetables and your meat, and then you get it all situated. You have the bowl. You give it to the chef, right? And then boom, and then you get it done. McNeil all the way to third. Stolen base. Damn, 6-0 Mets. It's like I'll steal second and I'll steal third. To be very honest, I mean, I don't, I'm barely surviving. I don't have a chance to spend any money on myself. Literally, I'm grinding 7 days a week just to barely, be able to pay rent and bills. Sometimes shit is late, and I'm just trying to struggle, and just keep it moving. But yeah, I haven't bought anything for myself in a long time, and I rarely get to, eat anything good, honestly. Just being real, it's like I'm just grinding on this every day, and you just hope for the best with views and subs and donos. Sometimes it ends up being good, sometimes not, but you just have to keep moving forward. You got dreams. If dreams were easy, then everyone would do it. But sometimes it's challenging, when you have like no money or little money. But but maybe one day, I'll be able to eat something good. I mean, I put everyone before myself anyway, so it's like, if I have money, instead of getting some like good Chinese food or, something like that, I'd rather, take Paisley to go get her nails trimmed and give her a bath, at like the dog groomer, so I always try to, take care of everyone else besides myself. So. Yeah, we're at, what do we have? 11:50. So we got about 88.50 to go. Calm down, Paisley. We got a pitching change. It's the top of the sixth. Mets 6, Astros 0, 2 outs, runner at third. You typically aren't going to see the Astros get their ass kicked like this that often, but again, they don't have Yordan Alvarez, in the lineup, which could definitely help quite a bit. Still could be the same result, but again, it was a good pitching matchup. You had Max Scherzer, right, and obviously we know he's a Hall of Fame pitcher, but then you also have the rookie Hunter Brown, had a better record than Scherzer, and he's pretty solid too, but he just got roughed up early in the game, and when you end up giving up a homer early in the third inning, and then they get a little string of hits with Marte and Beatty and Alvarez, and then you got Lindor ended up homering in that inning as well. So you went from 1-0 at the beginning of that inning, and then all of a sudden it ended up being 5-0. So now it's 6. So, I mean, it's still a one-hitter. So Scherzer has been dominating. That's big facts. I haven't been to one, but I'm the PF Chang's. I'm out here in the Northwest. I don't know how far out PF Chang's goes, but I'm not sure if they're still open after COVID. But as far as I remember, there should be still some out here in the Northwest. So, Philip in the building. What's good? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I've been watching since the mid '80s, and I was even talking to my dad, who's been a Dodger fan since the 50s. And, I've been a Mariner fan since the mid 80s. I met, Ken Griffey Jr. when I was 7 in his rookie year, and it kind of changed my life forever. And I was even talking to my dad, about, just certain teams and everything. And obviously, rooting for the Mariners and, the Ducks and certain things out here in the Northwest. Even my dad thinks it's like impossible not to be biased, but you can. You just have to put yourself in the other team's shoes, the other fan base of their shoes, the coach's shoes. And once you can like appreciate the game and all the greatness that's there, regardless if it's on your team or not, then you start to have a better love and understanding of the league as a whole. And, and it's very rare where you can get someone being real and genuine and not biased and give you honest, real takes on when teams are good or bad. No sugarcoating, no other hidden agenda, nothing for ratings or clicks, but just a straight up truth. If you're not really watching that sport or those teams on the regular, that's the problem with sports talk and podcasts is when you get a lot of these guys and girls that are on there, it's their opinion, but it's not the correct opinion. It's not what the real, truth and the real stats, is what they're saying. They always do their team, or whatever the producers tell them to say, So that gets annoying. I feel sports talk is terrible right now, and it has been for a while. You get a lot of loudmouth people that scream and yell, and just because you're loud doesn't make you smart, like a Stephen A, and these guys get paid millions and millions of dollars to be this like fake entertainer that don't, really do the research that they should. Everything is done by the producers for clicks, for arguing's sake. It's just not real. And then a lot of times you get these sports fans that think that is real. They do a top 10 list of quarterbacks, right? And Josh Allen is missing. Why do you think that is? Of course, he's a top 10 quarterback, but they do that to get a reaction. And you either are smart enough to recognize it, and say, oh, this list is stupid because it doesn't even have Allen, but they did it on purpose. And then you get the people on there arguing, oh, you guys are stupid. Josh Allen is a top 3 quarterback. That's exactly what they wanted to do to get those people to interact, because it's so shocking that they didn't have him in there. Now, that's why I feel that sports talk on ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, every single thing, even Good Morning Football is not good anymore. Pat McAfee show's going to ESPN, so they won't be able to swear and be genuine anymore. So yes, you're getting all these millions of dollars from the sponsors, but the show isn't going to be the same if you can't curse, and him being just, him being Pat, like I said, if they have the sponsors come to him, but now you're going to have to bow down to those millions of dollars of the sponsorship. So you can't swear, yeah, you might be able to grab a few new people being on ESPN, but again, who fucking watches ESPN nowadays? I stopped watching about 20 years ago, unless there's a game on. Bottom of the 6th, Scherzer, Myers, grounder, 1 away. But I do appreciate that. It definitely takes a lot of reading and film study and, just being able to have a love for the game. I mean, I love NFL and college football, right? I love those. I love wrestling, AEW, WWE, ROH, NJPW, Impact, all that. And then after that, obviously, the love for baseball, meeting Griffey, meeting Sandy Koufax. I mean, when you have stuff like that happens, it definitely changes you. And this was like me and my dad and Ken Griffey Jr. in 1989. In his rookie year when I'm 7. Got the Don Russ rated rookie still to this day. And it's not worth, like $500. The card's worth, with the auto, since it's from his rookie signature, maybe $150. But to me, it's priceless. And then I met Koufax with my dad, legendary Dodger Hall of Fame pitcher, the best left-handed pitcher of all time, even better than the Phillies, Steve Carlton, or even better than Randy Johnson, believe it or not. And that was my dad's hero. And so I got, me and my hero with Griffey and my dad there, boom. And then Koufax. And, we still try to go to games to this day. So I always do Dodger games kind of to pay homage to him. So, when you end up meeting Griffey and Koufax by the time you're 10 years old, with all the Northwest glory out here, it's like I could have met Gary Payton or Clyde Drexler, one of those guys. But to meet Ken Griffey Jr., I mean, as big as Clyde was for us here, Griffey was bigger. He transcended baseball. So he made baseball popular and fun, even in that steroid era. So.
Francisco Alvarez did best to try to snatch that back into the strike zone.
Oh, nice little blooper there. Bottom of the 6th, 6-0 Mets. All right, Maldonado, I see you. Little bloop single. Next up, Jose Altuve. Popped up. Swing at the first pitch just like Julio. That's their problem. 2 away. No patience in the box. Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? All right, man. Quick. I'll see you maybe tomorrow. I'll be doing, like I said, I'm going to be doing the Dodgers and the Angels because I want to see Trout. I want to see Ohtani and Kershaw's pitching. That's the thing. It's like it's a lot easier to watch NFL or college football or wrestling than it is baseball, hockey, NBA, or NASCAR. But if you have that special connection, whatever it may be, from when you were a kid or when you were younger, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, mom, dad, friends, whatever it is. And, obviously, like, I really appreciate, like, my dad, making me, having those opportunities to meet Griffey and Koufax, because back then baseball never was my number one. I loved the NBA in the 80s and 90s, and wrestling was always great. But now as you get a little bit older, I feel a lot of times when you have that connection to baseball, collecting the cards, collecting starting lineups, McFarland's and all that, and the bobbleheads and everything else in between, and obviously graded cards, non-graded cards. It's like I feel that a lot of my friends, once we hit like 35 and up, like after, we got a little bit older, you start to go to games, either with friends, and you start to kind of, have a little bit more love for baseball maybe than when you did, when you were transitioning out of it after, being 5 to 15 years old. Then you're getting into like other things, you're going to high school, getting into girls, cars, there's other stuff, other sports events going on, but it's just nice to be able to kind of tap in. But for me, a big part of it was actually going to Mariner games with my dad or my bro Justin or Preston and actually getting, foul balls or, memorabilia. And then once that happens, it definitely, it changes you. Like I went with my dad to a Dodger game about a year before COVID, and I got my first MLB foul ball from Kike Hernandez, who now is on the Red Sox with Justin Turner, but was on the Dodgers at that point. So that was my first experience. And the weird thing was I predicted that I would get that, like 10 years prior. It's like if I got to slide past a grandma or grandpa, I got to get a ball, whatever. I kind of joked about it. Literally like 10 years later, I had to slide past like a 90-year-old grandma and grandpa. And there was 2 guys in the aisle. One guy had a mitt, dropped it twice, and then he body checked me from behind as I grabbed it after he dropped it twice, and my knees bled for 9 innings, but I got the ball. And that kind of sparked a little bit more interest in games when you get a ball in a game. And then last year, I wanted to go see Julio, Bobby Witt Jr., third base, rookie phenom, and then obviously Julio Rodriguez. And then I actually got a rookie Julio foul ball, which was insane. It doesn't get any better than that. And then I went to go see the Yankees a couple weeks later, and I told everyone on the channel I'm going to get an Aaron Judge ball, and I think some people thought I was crazy, and I ended up getting an Aaron Judge ball also. So you have a historic 62 home run season and rookie of the year. I mean, the only thing that could have been better for me is if I would have got like an Ohtani ball, but I didn't go see the Angels last year. So, I think I've been to 7 games and I've gotten 3 baseballs. So that's not normal. I'm not a Zach Hampel or anything like that, but I definitely put myself in a position typically to try to win, because you got to react really quickly with foul balls and home run balls, things of that nature. All right, end of the 6th inning. Mets 6, Astros 0. Let's go to the top of the 7th. Restaurant scene. Yeah. Yeah, well, also Verlander's not there, so when Verlander's not there, even though he might be getting a little older, he'll be pitching tomorrow for the Mets against his former team against Houston. So it'll be interesting to see like the reaction if they boo him or cheer him. I mean, I would assume you would cheer him, because if you didn't have him, you're not winning some of those World Series titles and whatnot. No Yordan Alvarez, he's been hurt. So anytime you have, a star get hurt, Yordan Alvarez, you're not going to be as good. And you don't have Verlander, right? And Yankees don't have Judge or Giancarlo or Rizzo typically all at the same time. And then that's going to kind of scale them back also. So that's why you've seen the Rays and the Rangers, take off. Bochy, former, obviously, manager of the Giants. He's doing a great job there. The Rays started off like 15-0, so no surprise that they're keeping the run going. And then on the National League side, it's not as good. You got the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll. You got the Dodgers. That not really the same championship squad. And then the Braves are the best team over there. So.
Max Scherzer has been in control for New York, and for the Astros, they're on their second reliever of the night behind rookie Hunter Brown, and he is a rookie making his major league debut tonight. Welcome to the Grande Ligas, 27-year-old Sean Dubin. First pitch of his big league career is in for a strike to Brandon Nimmo.
No, nothing on there. Hopefully we'll get some there. At some point. Chop foul. Top of the 7th. Mets 6, Astros 0. Nimmo in the box. 0 for 3 with 2 Ks for Brandon. 0-2 pitch. Struck out. Got him. You can't go in there. She's sick. I wish you could understand. There's only going to be, if you can't go in there, is because she doesn't feel good. Yeah, I know. You're such a vocal puppy, okay? I love you so much. I know. I love you. Next up, right fielder Starling Marte. Takes a pitch. 1-0 count. Big swing and a miss. 1-1 count. Top of the 7th, Mets 6, Houston 0. I don't think anyone saw this type of score. Definitely wanted to do it for Scherzer to see what he would be able to do. Last time I watched him, it was against the Braves, and he got roughed up a little bit, so I thought that this could be a good opportunity to do a little bit better.
It's just one night that you have to really kind of take it all in.
2-1 pitch. Chopper. Right to second. 2 away. Next up, shortstop Francisco Lindor. We're in the top of the 7th, 2 outs. Comfortable 6-0 lead for New York. Takes a first pitch strike. Oh, 1 pitch. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lindor, 214 average, 14 homers, 48 ribbies, OPS of 726. 1 for 3 with a 3-run dinger earlier in the game in the 3rd. Chop foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Worst fan base in the NFL. I don't know. That would be tough. There's quite a few that would probably go into that category. Sometimes, passion is mistaken for being a horrible fan base, but it just depends. You definitely can have a couple people ruin it for everyone else at a stadium or whatnot. So, all right, let's go to the bottom of the 7th. See if the Astros have any life. I mean, I imagine if you polled 100 sport fans, that watch the NFL, I would assume probably 80 of them would say Dallas Cowboys number one. But, sometimes the Cowboy fans are smart. Some maybe not so much. Some are living in the past, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Some are living now. Some think that they're going to win it every year when you clearly know they're not. But really, it comes down to coaching with them. If they can, get someone that's an elite coach, keep Dan Quinn like an elite defensive coordinator. But ultimately, you probably are going to need Jerry Jones to either sell the team or pass away. And then once that happens, maybe the next regime can do better. But, it really comes down to coaching and play calling and obviously getting better players. That's facts.
Work smarter, not harder, with new hands-free Skechers Work Slip-ins. Just step in and get to work without bending down or touching your shoes. Plus, they have Skechers exclusive air foam, slip-resistant outsoles, and machine washable and affordable new hands-free Skechers Work Slip-ins.
Meet the team behind the team. The coach, the manager, and the staff done. All using Chase to keep up.
My top three. So my top three, not being biased, right? And just being honest, and just like, my personal experience, everyone else's, from other fans, from what I see on TV and other people interacting, or just my, just vibe. I would probably say, and it's not that the teams are bad. A lot of times the teams are good, but I would probably say, Cowboys, Saints, and Eagles, and all three of those teams typically are good. But it just depends on the fan bases themselves. If they're delusional, if they can't give any credit to the teams that they're playing, they always have to talk shit or fight or argue or make up excuses. You know what I mean? So I think like every fan base, can be like that. But at some point you just have to, have some accountability. And I think a lot of times you get people that don't know what they're talking about or just being extra. But I would say probably those three fan bases get the worst reputation. Would be Cowboys, Eagles, Saints. And again, it's not like these three teams are bad. Most of the time, those teams are going to the playoffs or the, NFC championship game or Super Bowl. So, but that's probably where I would go. It's kind of ironic that all of them are in the NFC, but, maybe the NFC teams are a little bit more edgy, and whatnot. AFC teams, they got the better Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They're a little bit more smooth. Sometimes they don't have defense out there. NFC typically has that, right? But, the AFC teams, you got the Mahomes, you got Herbert, you got Josh Allen. I mean, Burrow, you don't got anybody on that level over on the NFC side except maybe Jalen Hurts from last year, if he can carry it over. But the quarterbacking is nowhere near. So that's why if the NFC team is going to win it all, they have to have a well-rounded team. But that defense needs to be like the Rams when they had Aaron Donald, or my Bucks when I played the Chiefs, where you got a very deep team of 8 or 9 guys and a couple Hall of Famers in there. Otherwise you're going to have a shit performance like you got with the Eagles, and you weren't able to have that defense step up. Jalen and the offense did their part, but the defense shit the bed. The D-line did terrible. Fletcher Cox and company, big play Slay. You couldn't get any sacks or any picks. And if you can't do that, you're not going to win a championship. So, no, I've never been on the betting side because I'm superstitious, but I have had people win a lot, based on my predictions and my ESP, and usually they'll, or fantasy football. I'm pretty good at that as well. I just do a lot of reading and film study, and most people do like 50 moves in a fantasy football season. I do 100 to 200. So every week I'm updating everything, and I try to give good advice, but, and I don't even have to watch a sport heavily to be correct. Oh, Diaz, back, gone. Wow, Diaz with a homer. Nice job. At least they're not getting completely goose egged. 6-1. And he was DHing tonight instead of playing catcher. 6-1 Mets. There we go. They're not going to come back necessarily and win, we don't think, but a good start for them to at least get something. Nice job, Diaz. 6-1. That was a great swing. You think it's Steelers and Dallas fans? I don't know. I think Eagle fans and Saints fans. I'm a I follow the Bucks and a lot of the NFC South stuff. So it's like, Cowboy fans get probably the most like public hate, but if you actually look at like the Eagles and the Saints, like in the fan base, they have some great passionate fans, but there's going to be some toxic shit in there too. And all three of those franchises, I don't think I would put Pittsburgh up there, honestly. Pittsburgh fans, they travel well, there's been like a couple of America's teams, Steelers, Cowboys, Packers, I guess, and to a certain degree at some point, but I think most Pittsburgh fans, and especially, if you were a fan of them, in the 70s and Steel Curtain, winning 4 Super Bowls with that defense and Terry Bradshaw, and then winning a couple with Big Ben. But I've never had any type of issue with Steelers fans ever, honestly. But everyone's interactions are different, so. Yeah, did you have it sounds like you had a personal bad experience. Who are your teams? Who do you root for? Like, who are like, put your like NFL, college football, baseball, basketball, like, hockey, like put down in the chat, like who you root for, like where you're located in the country and the teams that you root for. Sounds like you just had like a bad experience with maybe a couple of drunk asshole Pittsburgh fans that were being extra. Sometimes we can have a bad experience and it ruins like that team or those people, that root for that team forever. It's like going to a Seahawk game and having a bad experience and then being like, well, fuck those guys. I mean, not everyone is going to be an asshole, but again, alcohol can make anyone an asshole regardless of what team they root for. That is big facts. Bottom of the 7th, we got Scherzer still in there. That was a shame because he had a one hitter. Now he's at 4. So Astros are starting to heat up. And at some point, they're going to pull Scherzer, but Brown as a rookie, I mean, he got eaten up for a bunch of runs, but he did have 7 Ks, and Scherzer is at 6 right now. So chopped up, popped up. I don't know. I think also too, Philip, it's like if you are sober and you're hanging around drunk people, regardless of their sports fans or not, it's incredibly annoying. And you have to be on the same page with people, like depending on where you are. Like if everyone's drinking, then everyone's drunk. But if you're like the sober one and everyone is drunk, regardless if it's like at a sporting event or just at a party, there's nothing more annoying being like, if you're sober. And that's like, usually for me, I don't really drink as much as I did. I'm trying to be a little bit more healthy and spend time with my pup. And, we're doing a lot of exercising and listening to music. And I'll go to the river every day for my mental health to make sure that my depression and anxiety don't get the best of me, and whatnot. But
That's why Alvarez kind of just went out there. How do you say clock in Spanish? 2-2.
O's and Rays tomorrow. That's going to be awesome, right? The Rays are arguably the best team in baseball with the Braves and the Rangers, but the O's are good this year. Rushman, and you can see some of these teams, like the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Orioles and the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. It's a nice surprise, but also you have to look at the roster. So if you have like a Rushman, a catcher, or if you have Corbin Carroll, and if you're not watching baseball as a whole, you don't understand why these teams are doing better. Or Bochy, the former Giant manager on the Rangers. If you don't dig deep, you will never know. So sometimes you got to either watch a channel like this or do your own investigating on why teams are good. But man, I don't know. That could go either way because sometimes the Rays, just utterly dominate. But then there has been some games where they've struggled. You just kind of have to, it's an even flow. So you like Mets, Nats, Bills, Giants. So you're out there in you're out there in like the Northeast out there. The Skins, yeah. Oh, okay. The DMV area out there. And then obviously getting rid of Bradley Beal and then bringing in CP3. But we already know with the Bullets and the Wizards, a lot of times with the basketball team, it never works out. You know what I mean? I know people that root for those teams out there, and Washington football team, Redskins. I mean, at least Snyder's out. So at least that could get better for them out there. Giants were pretty good. Everyone wanted to clown on Daniel Jones, but then he showed like a different part of his game, with the coaching staff that he could run RPO, and he actually was a pretty good runner. Then Kayvon Thibodeau from my Ducks went there and actually did pretty good, except for, knocking a quarterback out and mocking him, by doing a little snow angel shit, which we didn't teach him to do that shit in Oregon. But yeah, it should be pretty interesting.
Great things happen when good friends get together. So grab a glass, amigo.
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna get that anywhere you go, regardless if you live in Hawaii, or you're gonna be in the lower 48. You get people that are going to wrestling events and sporting events, and they're on their phones the whole time. There's a reason why I get memorabilia when I go to sporting events, autographs or foul balls, because I'm not on my phone, or if I am, it's briefly, just to check something real quick, and then as soon as the action is going, because if you're at a baseball game, you have literally 1.5 seconds to react. And a lot of people are drinking beer on their phones. They're eating nachos out of the baseball helmet, or they're just drunk. You got to be aware of your surroundings, and I think that's a big reason why I've been so successful on, getting memorabilia. I'm just in the right place at the right time, and I'm able to act at the right time too. My boy Mike in the building. How are you? I missed you, bro.
6 runs on 7 hits, including a couple of homers by the Mets. A run on just 4 hits for Houston. There's another knock for the Mets. That one rolling all the way to the garage.
Oh no, Redskins, Commanders, Washington football team. Honestly, for me, just having the rich history and being, watching sports for, 36 years of 41 that I've been alive. I like the name, the Washington Redskins, even the Indian tribal, communities never had any issue with it. It's a lot of the Kyles and Karens that had to fucking complain, about it and try to make it this bigger deal, than it was. And then the Cleveland Indians had to change their name to the Guardians. Stupid. I would have rather kept it the Indians and the Redskins. I don't know. Redskins, Cowboys just has so much history. It's just not the same. Cowboys, Washington football. It doesn't sound good. You know what I'm saying? But I understand why they did it. But if you think people are being offended by it and the main ones aren't, and it has nothing to do with this other group of people, and they're making these changes, I don't know. For me, I understand why they did it, but I just wish that people weren't so fucking sensitive. It's how are people that grew up on Family Guy and South Park so fucking sensitive? It's some of the craziest shit on TV for cartoons and whatnot that they get away with, and now everyone's fucking offended by everything. It's just dumb. I get it. Everyone has an opinion to be offended, or you can say whatever you want, feel whatever way you want, but some stuff is a little ridiculous, I think, as a whole. But I do understand both points of view. Ted Williams and Pete Alonso, MLB leader in home runs and RBIs all time in first 5 seasons. Wow, that's some pretty big numbers there. We're in the top of the 8th. 6-1 Mets. Oh yeah, Pete Alonso, very important.
There's only 5 or 6 guys in the leagues that you can say, if you don't have this guy, the team will significantly struggle.
Absolutely. Yordan Alvarez is one of them. Judge is one. Alonso's another. Yeah, of course. You got to have those guys. McNeil, 272 average, 3 homers, 21 ribbies, 699 OPS, 1 for 3 RBI single today. What's going on with you, Mike? I thought the race was yesterday, but it's next week because they had the whole Father's Day thing going on. So I spent time with my dad and we watched the Dodgers lose, to the Giants. But we had ribs and we had dogs and burgers, and I got a chance to see my stepsister and her daughter and her husband and my dad and my dad's wife and whatnot, my stepmom, and just being able to have some good food. And we didn't get to see Mariners win, so I got to see the Mariners win. So we were watching 2 games at once, and it was definitely nice to be able just to have some great food and hang out. And it's kind of crazy because my dad's diabetic and whatnot, and he doesn't really get a chance to eat. I mean, we love turkey and Easter food and Thanksgiving food, but usually for the Father's Day we do ribs once a year, twice a year, once during Father's Day and maybe once during July 4th or, summertime barbecue stuff. But I really enjoyed it. And as we had a laugh about it, it's like, man, the only time we ever eat ribs is usually like on this day or maybe one other day all year. But when we do it pretty big. And I took home leftovers, and then I busted open some of the Jack Daniels barbecue sauce. That's spicy. I was like, holy shit, this is good. I've never had it before. So I had a good, nice little drizzle. Still got a rack in there that I can, heat up, and I'll be able to do that. And yeah, so at least on that end, obviously I can save money and I don't have to worry about buying food for a couple days, which is good. Yeah. I mean, when I was driving home, I was a little upset that there was, no NASCAR because I wanted to be able to do a stream last night. But then I was like, well, they have the Red Sox and Yankees, but it's already like started because I got home after 4:00. So I was like, well, I can stream 5, 6, 7 o'clock. But then I was like, well, everyone is, it's late and it's like, Father's Day stuff. People are getting ready for work and other shit that they got to do. I was just like, well, I'll just spend time with Paisley. So we just got caught up on some shows and snuggled and whatnot. And then I just figured I'd come in, and we didn't have the Mariner game on today or Dodgers. So then I just had to look at the best matchup. This was really the only good matchup, based on paper, based off pitchers, that was going to be on from 5 to 7. So I figured I would do this one since it's on MLB Network. Thought the game would be a little bit closer, but nice to see the Mets do something. And Vogelback used to be on the Mariners. And I always am intrigued when I see someone like Scherzer pitching. He may not be what he was, but he's still one of the top, 15 pitchers. A lot of times, top 10, top 12. He's a name still, Hall of Fame player. And he did pretty good. And then, usually, I got to do some type of game. Like if I, did like, oh, I drink beer, we talk NFL like we would do last year, and I knew we could get just as many people or more, I would do that. But the NFL news scene, for NBA, NHL, which just ended, NFL and college football, there's not really a whole lot of news. So we just have to, try to do some wrestling, stuff in between of baseball. And then, and then we got obviously Nashville with NASCAR this weekend. And I know Chase Elliott won that race last year. Will he win it this year? Maybe this will be his first win this weekend. Vogelback pops up. And let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning. But there is a good chance that I end up doing the Nashville race as we get closer to the weekend. I'll see what the schedule is. Well, I look on the ESPN app and I don't look at the date. That's my problem. I just assume if they have it on there that the race is this weekend. And then I noticed that it wasn't even the date when I got home. And I was like looking for the race and I'm like, oh shit, it's not even on. So it happens. Oh yeah. Well, they don't have the same type of players. Kike Hernandez is gone. Anderson is gone. Justin Turner is gone. So you got a lot of the guys in the lineup, on the back end, that aren't as good. So, you're not going to get as much production there. Pitching has been shaky at times. It's like Walker Buehler's not there. Dustin May sometimes gets hurt. Got Urias isn't as good as he was last year. Kershaw has been pretty good for an old man. But he's had a couple shaky starts as of late after starting off really strong. So the bottom line is like, my dad's been a fan of the Dodgers since the 50s, but we're not going to be biased just because it's like, that's our team and that's who we root for. Like you can clearly see, batting averages aren't as good league wide. There's a lot of teams that don't even have a 300 hitter, including the Mariners. We're hitting like 230 as a team. No wonder we're 500. But with the Dodgers, they will only have to worry about, we'll see if the Padres get a little bit of a shift, but Corbin Carroll and the Diamondbacks is, helping that team, lead that division. But the National League is pretty soft compared to the American League as far as many teams that are good. I feel that you got a lot more competition in the American League, but again, if the Dodgers get a little bit better, the Padres get a little bit better, we'll see what they can do, climbing up. But it's clear it's the Braves. They are the best team in the National League by a lot, and then obviously you got the Rays, right? You got the Rays and the Rangers at the top there, but you will have the Yankees and the Astros and maybe Blue Jays. There'll be others that'll be creeping up. So I feel like the quality teams, you'll have probably about 5 to 7 in the American League that could do some damage. But in the National League, it's kind of like maybe 3, and even with those 3, you don't really know what the Dodgers are going to be able to do post All-Star break, let alone the Diamondbacks if they can keep it going with Corbin Carroll. But one thing we do know for sure, as long as Spencer Strider and then the rest of the crew doesn't get hurt, it should be the Braves World Series to lose. They should be the team that represents the National League hands down. They are the best, unless you have a magical Phillies team that has a run like last year, but I don't see it this year. The Braves, to me, they're the team. It's their championship to lose, and if they get there, then maybe we'll get a Braves Rays or a Braves Rangers World Series if it's not Houston or New York or one of those other teams that ends up having a run. Pitches inside. Can't believe Scherzer is still out there. This is awesome. Yeah. And like I said, I think my dad knows it too, and you have to look at like Muncy if he's hurt, Outman instead of Cody Bellinger, who's not there as well. So it's just like the names are different. The pitching has not been consistent. Shit, you got swept by the Giants. I went over there and I was like, but the thing is, like, if you're a true baseball fan, regardless of record, if you play anyone in the division, if you know anything about sports, anybody can beat anyone. It's like you Mariners could be playing the fucking A's and they could have like 10 wins. That doesn't mean that we're going to win every game. It's like there's still a professional team. And when you go with rivals, records go out the window, just like sometimes in college football, or even in the division in the NFL. Like, every once in a while, the Buffalo Bills will drop one to the Jets or the Dolphins. Should they? Probably not, based on Josh Allen and how good they are. But if their O-line stinks or their defense sucks, which it does sometimes, that there'll be a little bit more wiggle room. Maybe Josh Allen doesn't have, 4 touchdowns and 1 pick and 350 yards. Maybe he has 1 touchdown and 2 picks. And maybe one of them's a pick 6 and it's just a bad game. That's what makes sports good. You never know. Yeah. Well, the Nats haven't been the same once you got rid of, Bryce, right? And then you ended up winning the World Series the year after, which was kind of probably hurt Bryce's feelings a little bit, but at least he got there with the Phillies. You had your little run with the Nats, right? And then you had your little run with Ovechkin, over there with the Caps. You're not going to get it on the basketball side, and I think everyone knows that. And then on the Redskin Washington football team, side, there's a little bit more like hope, on that side for teams, more than the basketball team with the Wizards side. But, it's probably pretty surprising anyone that lived out there. But Ovechkin was one of the top guys with Sidney Crosby. So you already knew at one point they would probably have an opportunity to be a champion at one point, or at least get there. So, yeah, I'm not like that. Yeah. Well, yeah. And plus, like I said, I feel like, I feel I'm like the most underrated, so it's like I don't have all those other deals in place. And, obviously I just try to keep it real. And there's a lot of people that do sports. There's people out there like, I felt one thing I needed to improve on is the thumbs. And now I got that on lock, but I didn't know how to do that. And, I just feel like a lot of times when you watch people on like Twitch or YouTube, people are kind of like sheep. There's not a lot of like people that are independent. There's a lot of followers. There's a lot of people that are kind of like lonely and they're like followers. So sometimes people will sub and like donate to a channel, whether they even know anything about it. If there's a lot of people in the room or they have a lot of subs, sometimes people will be sheep and they'll just follow the others. They see someone else doing something, donating 50, then, they don't even know anything about the person or anything like that. And so I feel like with sports talk, you get a lot of people that are fake. You get a lot of people that are liars that, are good actors. They try to like act like they care about anything and everything. But most streamers, they only care about the subs, the views, and the money. And depending on how, far along you are, if you're full-time or not, you need those things to be able to be successful, but you don't want that to be everything, We're in the bottom of the 8th, Mets 6, Astros 1. They're doing a little test with the catcher here. 2-2 count with a runner at first. Yeah, no worries, man.
One more.
I don't even think Scherzer wants to throw that ball unless it's a real thing. So you know what? Just throw it to Pete. Don't even throw it to Scherzer. There's no need to throw a few extras that you don't need to with 87 pitches through 8.
Flip catch with somebody else.
So you got 4 other guys.
Yeah. Todo bien. It's okay.
Todo bien. Seguimos.
2 balls and
Oh, they did.
Martin Maldonado in the
Nice.
fraternity, giving him as much time.
I always like watching them in the mid 90s. That's kind of a part of why I ended up being a Tampa fan besides Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks. I really enjoyed, besides Oregon, I really enjoyed Steve Spurrier and that, that spread offense, that running gun offense. They usually had 3, 4, 5 wide receivers with, Steve Spurrier, the head ball coach. Then you had Danny Warfel at quarterback, and then Ike Hilliard, Jaquez Green, Rydell Anthony. That was a big part, in the mid 90s. I really, really loved that Gator team and that little era with Steve Spurrier. And anytime I see anything of that era, like an ESPN, old school matchup, I always watch it. It just always gives me kind of goosebumps, brings me back, being 13, 14, 15 again. Scherzer with the heater, got him. How many Ks is that for Scherzer? 7? $11.89 to go. Bottom of the 8th, Mets 6, Houston 1. Runner at first, 1 away. Altuve is up. 0 for 3, strikeout, fly out, pop out. Chopper towards third, double play opportunity, 1, 2, got him. Nice. Let's go to the top of the 9th. Scherzer's like, I'm going to go the whole game. Is he going to pitch the whole game? This is crazy. Let's go to the top of the 9th. Well, considering I'm doing this full time, and I'm recording literally every day, 7 days a week. Not many people work 7 days a week. But you get paid, once a month. But like I said, if you don't, that's why like Cash App and the other things are so essential. Because if you only get paid once a month and you're having to try to pay rent and bills, you got to be able to have money to like survive, like to eat and like gas and food and just whatever, stuff that comes up. So, but it's been a very tough challenge in 2023 compared to last year. It hasn't been easy. I mean, I'm very close to having to get a second or third job just because we're not getting enough support as a group. So, but I'm still grinding to see, I got to be able to do what's best for me too. And this is everything to me, my dreams, my goals, all the sacrifice, the Jordan rookie card, the 11 years, so it's like, if I'm going to do something, it'll probably only do part-time, like, 2 to 3 days a week if I have to go that route. But yeah. But it makes you appreciate, everything. I mean, because, we were doing 100, 200, like all the time, every day, all the time, in 2022, I mean, it just depends on the support and the people and also getting an opportunity to put yourself in front of others that are new to the channel, and hopefully gaining some people that would possibly support the dream and donate there as well. So I'm going to try to open up the other platform, to see if I can do it. But I might try to even do like reaction videos for the NFL games and some college football, just trying to get, because not everyone watches live streams and whatnot. I get that, so I'm going to maybe I'll sprinkle in a few shorts and then, try to do maybe some reaction videos to the, some of the games as we go into the fall. Top of the ninth, Mets 6, Houston 1. Beatty with a single to center. Next up, catcher Francisco Alvarez. Top of the ninth, New York 6, Houston 1. Runner at first pitch. Chop foul, 0-1 count. Alvarez in the box, Dubin on the mound.
This is a little bit more than that. This is hard and prodded. This is letting your teammates know what type of player I am, what type of grit I have.
Yeah, every part of the country is different, though. Pitches inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Some will tell you it hurts for 8 seconds. Some will tell you it hurts for 8 days. I'm the guy that would tell you it hurts for 8 days. Me too. My man, will tell you 8
So Scherzer is out, so they're going to bring in their closer.
1-1.
Popped up, chased that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alvarez.
Look at him laughing. He's like, that pitch is over my head right now, and I'm swinging at it. What a ball player. What a future.
I mean, you wonder if he's going to be in there tomorrow, because that thing's only going to get puffier as the night advances.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Struck him out. 1 away. Next up, center fielder Brandon Nimmo.
It's illegal now. It is. Like, that's ozone killer type stuff. They don't allow it around anymore. But
Yeah.
I miss the days when a guy would get hit with a pitch and then they spray him down with aerosol.
Well, that was like pre-Saban also. Pre the Saban days.
Nimmo misses inside. Nimmo tonight 0 for 4.
That's a good moment right there with Scherzer and his catcher Alvarez.
But even with that being said, still had some teams that had some guys. I believe Sean Alexander, the Seahawk running back, was from Alabama, pre-Saban, and obviously we know how that turned out. So they've always had, certain athletes, but obviously once you get Saban in there, it's a whole nother thing. It's like going back to like the Bear Bryant days. Top of the ninth, 2-0 count, runner at first. Mets 6, Astros 1. Nimmo in the box. Nimmo pops up. 2 away. Popped out to center field. Next up, right fielder Starling Marte.
Two gone for Dubin and now Starling Marte.
What a great job he's done, huh? 34 pitches.
1 for 4 with an RBI single and a run. 255 average, 3 homers, 20 ribbies for Marte in 2023 so far. First pitch. Right over Pena's head. Runners at first and second now. Nice little line drive. Next up, shortstop Francisco Lindor. You too, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Boy, tomorrow's is really another terrific matchup, too. It's Justin Verlander and Framber Valdez.
Pitches inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Verlander pitches tomorrow against his former team. That'll be interesting.
Verlander got his ring earlier today. We talked about that earlier. JP Morosi documenting
Lindor
his World Series ring.
popped up. Back. Off the wall. Wow, he almost homered again. Beatty scores. Wow. 8-1 Mets. Wow, they're just ripping them apart. Lindor with an all-star game. 2-run RBI. What a game for Lindor. 2 for 5, but 3-run homer and then another 2-run RBI. Yeah, what, 5 ribbies today? Wow. Yeah, it was going to be a homer or a double. Next up, first baseman Pete Alonso. See if they try to throw at his face. Seems like everyone that pitches to him pitches like at his face or at his body. They always pitch inside. I don't think I've seen any other superstar that gets really pitched like that. But again, usually him and Ohtani are at the top of the board for homers. So maybe that's trying to intimidate him a little bit. So, yeah, I wouldn't even do that. I would just do 11. Let's get to a hundo. That's probably where I would go.
When this lineup is on, Matty, watch out.
1-1 pitch to Alonso. Big swing and a miss. 1-2 count.
Well, we said it when we went on the air tonight that one of these two teams that's been stuck in kind of low gear will lay claim to building some momentum tonight. Clearly, the team that's up 8-1 is that one. Scherzer's start was huge. Big night.
Wild pitch.
The ball that gets past Maldonado.
Runner advances to third. Lindor. No, they're still pouring it on.
Some notable streaks today around Major League Baseball, including another win for the Cincinnati Reds. The Giants are red hot. In fact, on the Casamigos MLB Tonight postgame show, as soon as we're done, Brian Kenny, Dan Plesac, and Anthony Record will bring you live looks at the Padres and Giants. San Diego has a 1-0 lead.
Big swing and a miss. Or did he rip it? Oh, he actually got contact on that. I thought he missed it. Ripped it. That was quick.
Boston's gotten hot. Despite Luis Arraez's 5 hits tonight, Red Sox on top of, well, the Red Sox are on top of the Twins. Luis Arraez is playing in Miami. I'll get that. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Pete Alonso.
Full count to Pete. Top of the 9th. Mets 8. Astros 1. 2 outs. 3-2 count. Runner at third for Pete Alonso.
He is always smiling, shaking hands, ecstatic. I mean, I get it tonight. He's had a good night, couple of hits. 8-1 Mets.
You can ask me one. 3-2 pitch to Alonso.
2-run rally right here. The 3-2 home. That's going to go
Walked him.
deeper as we go down to JP.
Next up, left fielder Tommy Pham. Let me check up on Paisley here real quick, too.
And I wanted to confirm it's actually true. Chas McCormick and Jake Myers, the only 2 active position players in Major League Baseball who throw left and bat right. That's right. The only 2 anywhere in the majors are both playing for the Astros side by side in the outfield right now. Again, they throw left and bat right. Of course, the greatest of all time. Ricky to do that was Ricky Henderson. Exactly, Matty. I knew you'd be all over that.
Excellent. That's
Ricky would say nothing Ricky can't do.
yeah.
He can probably throw righty.
In the throes of an 8-1 game, JP is still out there doggedly researching the obscure.
Just want to know if he had a couple cafecitos tonight. That's later, or maybe tomorrow.
All right, so runners at the corners now. And Tommy Pham, who's been on base twice tonight, with a swing and a miss. After the Mets are done here in Houston, they have an off day. The road trip continues with 3 in Philly. And then they go home for 7 with Milwaukee and San Francisco. And, the balanced nature of the new schedule yonder, it doesn't necessarily afford a team any of those letdown moments where you're playing within the division against a cellar dweller for an expanded period of time. There's always a good team around the corner, it seems.
It also helps the younger teams. Because you just haven't seen these teams before. You can kind of sneak up. If you're a young team, you can sneak up on these older teams. Or per se, a team that's a bit older in their roster. And if you're playing in division, those games count for 2 because you don't get to see them often. You got to win those games in the division.
Two of the teams that the Mets are trying to chase down were idle tonight. And they start a series head-to-head tomorrow with Atlanta visiting Philly.
I think John Morosi needs a glove, maybe a catcher's gear. Heads up this inning, my goodness.
Hankook, NL East, Mets starting play 12.5 back, hoping to shave at least a half game off that tonight.
How about the Marlins? 42-31. Big for real or what?
I'm with you there for real. That's not a. You cannot be a Fugazi 42-31 in mid-June.
You would think Schumacher's already making his case.
1-2 pitch
Sure. Wait, he's going.
to Tommy Pham.
It'd be hard to argue against that.
Ooh, rips it. That's another RBI. 9-1 Mets. Next up, second baseman Jeff McNeil.
Behind a kid making his major league debut, who is losing a little bit of his effectiveness here in his 3rd inning tonight.
I would think a precision player could come and get one out and not lose another arm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I can do, and whatnot, but ultimately it's, up to the people and, the type of support that you get on the tube. If you get recommended or if you get seen, if they, if you hit the algorithm and they push your channel, a lot of it has to do with, YouTube itself, but then also the people that are a part of a channel, if they show up, if they like the videos, if they share, if they donate, it's like you can't have, a certain amount of people and then all of a sudden you build something good and then all of a sudden, half of those people don't show up on a regular basis anymore or more. It's hard to be able to keep building momentum if you're not even getting the consistency from, some of the pieces that you already have, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't mind being the underdog and, being the one that, has to work extra hard, just to be able to get a fair shot to be seen. But, I'll have an opportunity at some point. Because like I said, I mean, I'm going to be reading, I'm doing the film study, I'm going to grind. Obviously if I do, more like upload type stuff, people have a short attention span and, they can't sit there and, focus on stuff sometimes longer than 30 seconds and whatnot. So, I can always do some shorts and I can always do, if my other platform works, then I can do like other reaction videos. That'll gain more subs and views than anything until I can get my live streams pushed on a high level. But again, if you're, it's all about the algorithm and, they decide, who makes money and who doesn't and who has an opportunity to be seen by more people. And the more people you get seen by, the more donations that you have an opportunity to get. But if you're not being able to get seen, then it's kind of tough to be able to, if you're not hitting the algorithm, it's hard to be able to be seen and grow. And then you got to rely on things like raids, from other channels. And if they have some other good people there, and then they can be a part of the channel and whatnot. But not every raid is created equal. Not every raid people donate. Not every raid do they sub. Not every raid they like the video, Top of the 9th, Mets 9, Houston 1. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Next up, DHing for New York, Daniel Vogelbach. And obviously being a Mariner fan, always good to be able to see Vogie do well wherever he goes. 1 for 4, solo home run. We loved him in Seattle. Let's see if he can do it again.
Stuff has been very flat now as of late. Even just it's been up in the zone. His breaking ball doesn't have that sharpness. Even the fastball doesn't have that sit. One thing's for sure with major league hitters, they're not going to waste any at bats. They're going to give you everything they've got. Especially if they see a pitcher that's really faltering and they just want to get one more out. These hitters compete.
Top of the 9th, New York 9, Houston 1. Bases loaded, 1-1 count. 2 outs. Dubin to Vogelbach. 1-1 pitch. Chops it foul.
It's unclear as to who will finish by pitching the bottom of the 9th. And it looks like Hartwig's ready to go to make his major league debut tonight. Two balls and 2 strikes.
2-2 count to Vogie.
He just hasn't thrown some quality strikes right now in this at bat. Got to be very careful with Bogey. All his strikes have been up in the zone.
Two pitch. Vogelbach. Oh, he got another single. Wow. Alonso scores. Myers, I think, bobbled that. Wow. 11-1 Mets. Next up, third baseman Brett Beatty. What a huge explosive day for the Mets. 9 runs. Now it's 11 runs. 13. Wow. That's insane. 11-1. And Scherzer did good for him too. 8 Ks. 8 innings pitched. That'll do it.
Two out, a walk and 5 2-out hits. I think one more base runner here, and we're going to have to see Seth Martinez. They can't leave him out there to die like this.
2-0 count. Top of the 9th. Mets 11, Houston 1.
2 balls and no strikes.
Runners at first and third on the corners. 2 away.
The second most scored by the Mets in a game this year, and it's the most allowed by the Astros pitching staff in a game this year.
Wow. Record-breaking day for both. Really good day for the Mets. Really terrible day for Houston.
2-1.
I mean, me as a Mariner fan, that doesn't really hurt my feelings too much.
If he gets out of this, you would think. A lot of Mets fans here, a lot of the Houston fans have gone home. Regardless of how you think the ovation is or who is for.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Chop foul. 2-2 count.
That's rough, man. He's just got to wear it. Yeah, unfair. Understandable. I get it. You get what Dusty's doing here. He doesn't want to tax anybody else in a game that's completely gotten away from him. And he
Got him. Wow. Got him looking too.
Mets add on.
All right. Bottom of the 9th. They're only down 10 runs. It's doable. Next up for the Astros, last chance for redemption. Third baseman, 1 for 3 with a K, Alex Bregman. Batting second in the inning, 0 for 3 with a K, right fielder Kyle Tucker. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, first baseman Jose Abreu. Take a look at the scoreboard here real quick. All right, what do we got going on here? Rangers 5, White Sox 2, Padres 1, Giants 0 on the top of the fourth, and then all these are finals. Cardinals 8, Nats 6. Obviously, that's good for Sarah. Tigers 6, Royals 4, Marlins 11, Jays 0. Wow, that was Arraez went what 5 for 5 or something of that nature. Cubs 8, Pirates 0. Reds 5, Rockies 4, Red Sox 9, Twins 3, and then Diamondbacks 9, Brewers 1. Wow.
Copyright telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not
14 hits, 11 runs, 5 runs in that ninth.
Oh, yeah, that's good stuff. The images you see here, one of the most famous postseason series in big league history, the 1986 NLCS. Mets won Game 5 in 12 innings. They won Game 6 in 16 innings. It's still the only postseason series in the history of the sport in which the winner won each of the final 2 games in 12 innings or more. Nail-biting time back then.
Grant Hartwig coming in.
Tonight. What a story he is. Alex Bregman, the first to face him. Why is Grant Hartwig so interesting? Last year, he was in low A. Pitched in 4 different levels, finished the season in AAA, and ended the year with a 1.75 ERA. So he got everybody's attention.
Sure did.
And adding to the intrigue, this guy that didn't even want to pitch. He wanted to become an orthopedic surgeon.
Oh, nice hit.
Gives up a base hit here. There's Mauricio Dubon pinch hitting here in the ninth in Bregman's spot. So Dubon, who's been so good as a starter this year, is a
Next up, right fielder Kyle Tucker.
Yes, Matt, Rivera is the major league pitcher with his own LinkedIn page. Here are the 2 most.
Scherzer to finish the game. Yeah, there was no point though. I mean, of course, that was a regular thing, with me watching baseball in the 80s and 90s, like Nolan Ryan pitching all 9 innings or going extra. But I mean, most guys can't even make it to the 6th. And to even go to the 7th is pretty rare. 8 is super rare. I mean, if he was in contention for like a no hitter, then I think, maybe that would have been something like, you keep a guy in then, but if not, you're going to give him some rest. But I would agree. It would have been cool to see him go all the way though. 2 away. Next up, first baseman Jose Abreu. Bottom of the 9th, Mets 11, Astros 1. 2 outs, first pitch on the corner for a strike. Oh, they're doing a little Kessinger. They're just going all kind of pinch hitters. Yeah, but sometimes it's just like not rubbing it in, and there is no point. I mean, if it's a no-hitter, you keep him in, but I mean, Scherzer's been good and he's been bad. He hasn't been fantastic this year. Sometimes he's, on point, but he has struggled at times.
Almost the same number of starts at shortstop as he has at second base this year in the minors.
It's like when you're up by 30 and you're trying to get a triple double, it's like 1-2 pitch. Pitch is low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Just a good night by the Mets. It was all Mets.
Pitch is outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Little full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Mets are a strike away from ending a very long losing streak in Houston. This is hard to believe.
Chop foul.
It's got to be over 20 years. Or 10 years, I'm sorry. May 15th, 2011. Huh? That's 8 straight games. How about that?
Still fun to watch, but not. Oh, almost hit him in the head. Shit. Walked him.
Every comeback's got to start somewhere.
Oh, a huge comeback.
Down by 10 bottom of the ninth. Here we go. And as the legendary John Crop once said before a comeback is Phillies executed in LA, we had a better chance of finding Amelia Earhart tonight than we did of winning that.
All right, next up. DHing for Houston, Yanier Diaz.
That is a clue.
Bottom of the ninth.
Only Crucky.
New York only up 10. 2 outs. Runner at first. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Hartwig. On the corner. Low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Here in Houston for the Mets is one of the fact that they don't come here very often until this year. Not a lot of opportunities to win, so it's a
2 balls, 1 strike.
12-year losing streak, but only 8 games.
Yeah, Verlander pitching tomorrow is going to be interesting, though, against his former team. That, obviously I got Mariners, Yankees tomorrow, but that's at 4. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the Dodgers and the Angels tomorrow. Force out at second. Got him.
The Mets work up a big number, 11 runs. Max Scherzer dominant tonight. 8 terrific innings, and the Mets win this one going away. We said it earlier, Yonder. One team's going to have a chance to build some momentum tonight.
Final score, Mets 11, Astros 1. I don't usually get to see the Astros get whooped that often.
He was as dominant as it gets, and tomorrow they have another Morrison Verlander. Houston's slide continues. One of their longer losing streaks in a while, up to 6 and counting. And yeah, they're going to have to deal with a very familiar foe in Justin Verlander tomorrow.
Yeah, Verlander tomorrow.
Out of that slide. 11-1 Mets, the final tonight. Join us Thursday, June 22nd, 7 Eastern. The show.
Then we got Rangers 5, White Sox 2, Padres 3, Giants 0. So most of the action is pretty much wrapped up. I'm going to probably stay on here for another 7 or 8 minutes. We'll see if anyone else shows up, and then we'll just call it a night, and then we'll continue on to tomorrow. So let me get some of these photos deleted here, and then maybe look at a few things of food, and then we'll call it a day. Unless we get people coming in and we get on some kind of dono train or something, then I'll stay on for a little bit longer, of course. Nice job by Scherzer. That was the main reason I wanted to be able to do the game based off the pitching matchup. Very dominant. Dominant game. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 Ks, 91 pitches. Nice job, Mad Max. Vogie homered. That was awesome. Lindor was great. He homered as well. 3-run jack.
So that had to feel very good. Absolutely. I mean, you get the start you've been looking for out of one of the starters you've been looking for it from against a really good team in the Houston Astros, and the offense comes alive, scores 11 runs. This is what every Mets fan has been waiting for all season is games like this. They've just been very few and far between.
Yeah, 2 things I noticed, Brian. Scherzer was good. And the other thing I noticed, Astros lineup just isn't the same without Jordan Alvarez. It's almost like the Yankees without Aaron Judge. Still a good team, but not as good of a team.
Yeah, but first, let's Scherzer just first. He'd given up 11 runs in his previous 2. It's a 4.45 ERA. And he goes 8, and it looks like he could have completed the game. What's the difference there?
You know what, Brian? He's this season. I think it started coming out of spring training. He had the 10-game suspension for the sticky stuff. And I think when you're at a point in his career where he's at right now, there's a lot of mileage on that arm. There's a lot of mileage on that elbow and that shoulder. And to expect that he's...
Field spun down by Austin, but that's almost 5 yards. Out of play clock at 3.
Oh, Ducks football.
Keep it on the ground with Dodd.
Oh, nice. We got Ducks Beavers, Civil War.
And all 3 of them. Meanwhile, movement, that'll help. Dead ball penalty.
Start offense at number 71. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Here's Cardwell. Oh, he gets face planted at the 35-yard line. Brown with a high percentage swing pass. Dive, trying to stay in bounds. Now check that to Cardwell after the catch, trying to stay in bounds. This is the play of the day here for Oregon State. Need to stop. Oregon will keep it on the ground with Cardwell. Touchdown. Back out of bounds. Inside the 5-yard line. It'll be first and goal there for Oregon. And they just to put Oregon State away. First and goal. And there's 1 on the play clock. First and goal. It's down into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Oregon Ducks closing in on victory and a trip to Vegas.
I think that drive is a testament to that. Both of that drive on the ground, they had to have it, and they kept it off with quality line of scrimmage offensive line play and a big touchdown to put this game away.
But to Tom's point as well, the next step is we've got a little skirmish and flags are thrown.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Kicking team number 20 is first of the game. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Receiving team number 4. Both players first of the game. The penalty is offset first down.
His greatest game on 10 wins. Also is my favorite defender to watch on this Oregon defense. First down from the 25, a completion out across the 30.
That's why I never want to see you again. I want that too.
I've done a lot of interviews, man, but wow. I'm so glad that Byron Allen canceled.
And after that, my movie career was kaput. I was sent back to Kids TV and never cared about making anything good ever again.
Well, folks, you heard it. Who could ever forget it? A heartbreaking story about a selfish man's one selfless act. Do you like hot cashews but don't have the time to heat them up? Shoe Blasters is disrupting the heated nut business. If the shoe heats, eat it.
Look, Dad! You guys never told us you worked on a movie together, so that's why you weren't together all these years.
That crazy movie? Oh man, that was a long time ago. You were just kids.
What was it like?
Working on that movie set turned out to be a lot of fun. Long days, stupid fights you don't remember. Good practice.
Good breakfast can get you through a lot.
What happened to the movie? Did Krusty ever see it?
I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
All right, I'm about to get into a little bit of Vice City here. I appreciate everyone that donated, everyone that watched, shared, and obviously helped us out here on the show today. Appreciate all you guys. And like I said, we'll be back tomorrow, more than likely for the Dodgers and the Angels. Kershaw's pitching, so that should be pretty good. And it's going to be a national broadcast, I think, on TBS. So should be a good one. Final score, Mets 11, Astros 1. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.